Okay, I have done some shit in my time. You may have seen, you may have heard, you may have had my shit in your face before, but nothing like I'm about to dump on you today. Forgive the immediate vulgarity, it fits the severity of today's challenge. Usually, the decent to moderately not so fucked in the various holes part of playing a game with the worst rule set known to man is that you feel you make some degree of tangible progress each time you play. You feel good about everything you accomplish. It may be the worst rule set ever devised, filled with terrible concessions and wastes of time, but it's still a game at the end of the day. And then you realize here are explained to just how every single challenge for a game has been performed, how there's nothing left to even try attempting in Final Fantasy V. Well, yeah, bucko, have you met me? No, you haven't? Well, lucky you. Keep your innocence. Shit, buttcock. You know the word jocularity? No, lucky you. Keep your innocence. It means fun characterized by humor. It means a feeling of facetious merriment. It means humorous activity. Today's video will not have any jocularity. In fact, it's gonna have fucktality. Per the rules that I've developed, I'm confident to say this is the least fun way anyone anywhere could play Final Fantasy V, because let's go over the last 8 months and talk about it. So when I produced the Final Fantasy IV challenge, I was already privy to the fact that 5 was played heavily. I got away with the first 4 entries because no one had given enough of a shit to push them to the worst they could go. So for 5, I initially thought I'd do something more routine, in line with specific jobs, limited party, this, that, or the other. And then I went for the very otherist, can you beat the game without the menu? Cleaned up everything I felt like, just really smoothed it out. Fucking idiot. I mean, for example, we can't use jobs anymore. That's in the menu, so how good is that? Easy, strike it from the list. Secondly, no armor or accessories. Boy howdy, that's something. And then we can't use items outside of battle. Yeah, that's quite annoying. Makes things interesting. Especially considering the small fact that I'm never allowed to save the fucking game. Yeah, perhaps the most balls on the foot with the motion of movement of pendulous swinging animation thing about the run is that we can never ever record our progress. One single wipe and the game is over. One single wipe and we are done. Thing is also, to make matters just even shittier, I can't change the game speed, I can't change our party rows outside of battle, I can't even look at the status screen to see how anything is going. Literally, it's the most deliberately horrendous, unsatisfying, scary-ass way to play an RPG. And then I decided to keep going. Due to the fanfare, the world at large, at some kind of size, maybe not the world at large, the subsection of YouTube Final Fantasy challenge runs at moderate to decently big size, was constantly saying, I must be doing the worst shit known to man. Believe me, I think I was still doing the worst thing ever, but suddenly and disgustingly, I was not feeling like I was doing enough. Mind you, this was like 2 months into me trying to succeed. The hype brought me to my knees. It pushed me further than I could go. And you know what? You did this to me. It's your fault. We're tacking on the added restrictions of never spending money, the classic, the Seer sauce, and I also can never flee one time. Yes, I don't know what is wrong with me. Final Fantasy V, with all this gone, you might as well call it... Here's the rules in their formal state. Obviously, the menu can't be opened, and therefore I can't save the game. That being said, I need to go to bed at times, and I can't leave the computer on for 200 hours in a row just because there's way too much chance for my power to shit the bed or something. So I used a save state to record the progress and then, go eat dinner and then do other things I'd like to do. Like not playing Final Fantasy V ever again. So yes, you're gonna have to trust me on this. I don't load the save states to undo failures. I am honor bound to do this for real. I hate honor. Additionally, there's a point in the game where the menu does have to be open because a tent has to be used. It's actually very sad news, but as is tradition, that means nothing to our rule set. I don't care about story-related requirements. No spending obviously means no ins, but it doesn't restrict the limited free healing spots in the game. Thank God for them. And no running is self-explanatory. I have to battle through the hordes to the very end. And that leads me to my final little bit of preliminary background information. I don't dislike Final Fantasy V, at least I didn't months ago, but it was probably my least familiar game of the first 6. I played it like 1.5 times and I found it to be fairly good, but it didn't get, so excited that I had to play it like 400 million times, and therefore my knowledge was limited. Uniquely, this is the first video I've made where the progress gets reset every 8 minutes. That's fun. That's called gaming. Fucking balls. And I want to make it clear, I think I've watched every single Final Fantasy V challenge run on the website. I've seen everything I need to see. I've talked to the greatest experts in the space, people who love playing the game, and honestly, it's believable to do this. I think anyway. That's the fun part. I'm not positive at all because there's a run out there that beat the game with no jobs and no armor, meaning that my usage of shields is a boon they didn't have. The difference was you could spend money on things and lose battles as much as they wanted. Plus, you can't heal before any boss fight fight, except in weird ways, so that's hard. There's a myriad of runs that use the freelancer only too, of course, and using only jobs that actually objectively suck ass in comparison to the freelancer. But again, I'll reiterate, do you know if it's actually literally possible through every step of the game to ensure you can beat everything without a misstep? That if you suffer a ton of damage, you can repair it in the middle of challenging encounters, or if there is even a way to get items to repair status effects. Maybe there's not. Maybe they're unavailable when you need them. Maybe there might be literally no way to walk from the start to the end without using the menu, and simultaneously without the benefits spending money gives you. And ask a lot of these challenge runners, and they'll tell you that running is an unspoken power in 5, that it is without a doubt the best option in many encounters. Removing all of this, and I mean it has to be considered the worst run to actually do, a gauntlet of fucking nonsense. And while yes, I could remove shields, I could use only one party member. I can't remove weapons and jobs at max level, by the way, so that's not a fair criticism. Unarmed damage deals in the ballpark of like 50 a hit. So really, to make this harder, I would have to arbitrarily make a few more withdrawals. Anywho, for chronological sense, we're gonna go through the early iteration of the challenge run where I was only restricting the menu, so you can learn with me in real time. In those, first X runs, I became far more aware of power development, hidden secrets, what to avoid, where I'm going to have to take a 50-50 chance and lose the entire game. You get the idea. What I want to do is to get into the real nitty-shitty of this all, so we're going to use our first rule set restrictions as a launch pad. By the end of this brief enough discussion, you'll be more intimately familiar with 5 and its random idiosyncrasies, as it were. So we'll stop in, show what's around, what will imminently go away, and we won't excessively trudge through every detail, keyword there, every time, because I want to get into the far harder discussion as soon as we can. Alright, get your goddamn popcorn. Time to watch some Final Fantasy V. I want these preliminary experiences to be brief, as they don't represent the bulk of the challenge or honestly any of the time spent, but they are necessary to show the progression of my knowledge. Without it, you'd think I'm just a mega genius, so we'll talk to more of the plot beats, the moments of note, and of course, any and all sticking points. Stick. First run with our titular character of Bartz, known as Butts usually in bad translations. That's funny as shit. That would normally be fine name with me. But to show that we're on a different run each time, the name has to be different every playthrough. Start us off with the old ass. That's good. Ass is riding on his chocobo's ass when he sees two people flat on their ass after an asteroid hits them, and all that seems fine. That makes sense. I hate to be hit with a rock from fucking space myself. One of the people hit with that rock was Lena from Tycoon, a princess. That's a classic occurrence, happens every day. And Galoof, who is aloof and remembers a shit all. Motley bunch we got here. The only decision we can make this early is to grab a free Phoenix down and then hold attack on everything. It works, as this is the level of power we're supposed to have at this point in the game. Inside the nearby Pirate Cove, we gain access to an infinitely reusable healing pond, and yeah, I figured this is a good time to grind. I haven't played the game in years. I don't know what level you should be to compensate with never using jobs or anything of the like, so let's get some experience now. After a while of fighting and healing, we move on, meet Faris, the literal other princess of Tycoon Castle. Common occurrence, happens every day. Two princesses, same 5-mile radius, and that's like, a lot of spoilers at once. I'm giving away the story, but anyway, we get our fourth party member. We're tasked with seeing why the wind isn't working. Yes, the wind is broken. 5 has a unique plot. Anyway, now with a full gang and in the nearby wind shrine, there's another free heal spot with this pot of infinite destiny, and we can grind for as long as we want. Relevant point to make here is that you can actually win elixirs off of the mold winds, which is amazing. And additionally, for the context of this specific run, we can go and buy swords and shields for the party at the local town. Won't be the case later, but yeah. And yeah, that's something to mention. We are not restricted from using shields in these playthroughs, as you can equip weapons and shields in combat from the inventory menu. Just happens to be that every other armor is pointless to us. From here, we take on the first boss of the game, Birdfuck, not the real name, but on brand. Boss dies to whacking it with a sword 5 times. I shit talk, but I would also probably die to that. Then you're entrusted with the first jobs of the game. You're supposed to use them. Yep, never mind, fuck them. So back to town, we can meet up with Zoc. Funny name, easy joke here, yeah. Big Zoc gives us his canal key, emphasis on the anal. It's Big Zoc after all, and he says to stay safe, protect Lena, and we immediately crash the boat and nearly drowned. But before we do that and get to the next boss, let me just mention that this is the worst experience farming game in the entire series by far. Honestly, it might be among the worst in the entirety of RPGs ever made, except for fucking Ultima Exodus. I will never play Ultima Exodus for you ever. Don't think about it. But I'm not even kidding. Since the jobs are the focal point of strength, your level means so little to the game developers. In fact, why haven't we done this part yet? Let me explain what actually happens when you level up. Stats don't change at all. Those are tied to job growth, and then you adopt the highest stat bonus from a job you've mastered if you use the freelancer. That's the base job we're stuck with for the whole game, just for clarification. I am the freelancer. Freeloader more like it. Class gets fucking nothing except the ability to equip every single thing in the game. So it's actually really, luckily, it's quite good. It's the saving grace. It's definitely top tier. Of course, there's no naturally learned abilities or skills, no stat modifications at all, and really all levels will change as the basic attack, calculation, damage, and our HP value. That's also not random, by the by. Your health statically changes based on your level and job, so you can immediately determine the maximum health you can have. It doesn't matter. I'm not kidding. Level 99 is a fucking fantasy. There is no logic to how long it takes to gain levels, even past 50. So if it's required I be a stupendously high level, it's going to be the worst thing I have ever had to do. Alright, so basically, stats, not a thing, don't think about them. And the other cool thing is that I'm not even sure what level I am right now. With the HP values, I can determine it, but really, you might not understand how endlessly stressful it is to sit down, plot directions to take, ascertain my stats and levels with math formulas, and have to focus like a madman to not randomly die to some shit I didn't expect. Okay, boat, Carlabos, which is known as Carl Boss, the first you're supposed to have jobs for, and yeah, the punching back and forth battle is swell. Faris dies, but we win the day. After that, Sildra, Faris's loving sea serpent dragon beast, appears to be sucked into a whirlpool and dies. To fucking Carl Boss? And then you're sucked into a new dungeon, the ship graveyard. This is a good time to point out I can't repair my party before combat begins, so in places where I'm just stuck, I am completely at the will of the world, otherwise known as the will of not getting my ass clapped immediately by some random terrible encounter. There are some of those in this game. Fortunately, partway through this place is a rest spot. You learn Faris is the fair sis of Lena. Actually, you don't learn that yet, but yes, whatever. Point is, story happens, and now that these fucking beds submerged on a ghost ship in the ocean are available, wet and cold, we now have another ideal spot for grinding. And it's fairly good to be running around fighting for experience because there's a chance to win elixirs from these enemies. It's really honestly a bit of strange game design considering elixirs are the greatest healing item in the game by a very considerable margin, and we've already had 2 locations ripe with them. After we emerge from the training montage, we get to the next boss, Siren, who starts by trying to free kill the party by showing them visions of their loved ones. Good news is Galoof has no brain, and therefore cannot give a shit about any of this, and slaps ass on his butts and punches the 2 female party members as well, and everyone gets amped up to kill. Siren is unique as she has 2 forms, living and undead. When she's undead, she hits like a train, one-shotting a party member and takes far reduced physical damage. Good news is that my copious amount of potions I brought with me have the potential to deal 50 damage per use to her, and with enough bungling around, healing what I can, hitting what I can, this is a simple enough boss fight. Talking long paragraph, fuck my ass. Put that on the checklist, need potions for Siren. Non sequitur. Will be fun without buying them, but yeah, for now. Upon getting outside, I start realizing that this challenge is going to suck major ass, as I can't remotely one-shot the random encounters around here, like Tatus, and feel like we'll soon be needing to look into better forms of grinding. I just realized that it's probably Tatus, but Tatus. Shut the Tatus. We get to the nearby town and decide to pursue a mythical dragon beast on the northern mountain and head over there after picking up a few new items, weapon upgrades, and a free ice rod. Let's take a moment to discuss the rods in 5 because they are a contentious topic. Most challenge runs I've seen like to prohibit their usage because they're ridiculously overpowered, allowing a free cast of Aga tier magic if you use it in combat. Doing so breaks the rod, but the kicker is you can very reasonably buy these things in a town coming up. So yes, if there's anything insanely overpowered about the ability to spend money, is that we can use infinite rods, and it will be one of those things when pruned from our possibilities that will immediately and dramatically make things more difficult. Maybe a crutch, but there's a lot of things going against it, and it's just for learning. We'll see what's gonna happen. I didn't know it was coming up. Emphasis on the word didn't. It's hard to remember what I thought of this game at this point. Speaking of, North Mountain is a fairly straightforward dungeon, except that if you step onto these overworld plants up here, the whole party gets poisoned, and remember, I cannot solve that the way any human being would, so if I touch them, I have to get burned walking around in order to find a random encounter before healing the condition. Magissa is here and starts the fight by poisoning Lena, annoying, and after a few moments of fighting her, summons Forza, this huge beef boy, and he lays down a beating every strike, and Magissa just heals him, so it's actually kind of crazy. Not to mention, my best healing right now is 50 per healing potion. 50 is so atrocious, I don't know who designed it. It's at this boss I start realizing that the game devs probably expected you to have equipped armor, or to have used any of the jobs at all. Currently, our damage is awful, we can't survive 2 hits, and really, I was already dejectedly imagining the future challenges I'd rather do than do this. But with a non-formidable amount of of HP remaining, we kill Forza, and Mikasa is still rather hurt from the start of the fight. You know, Ass and Galoof stand short since they're pretty fucked up, and finally we win the battle, scraping by barely. As a bonus, we get an incredible weapon, the whip. Here's something funny about this run compared to other ones people have done. I have so few options that the tiny bits of help I can get, either to inflict statuses or deal more damage or whatever the case may be, is insane. I don't know a lot about this subject during this first playthrough, but the whip has a good chance of inflicting paralyze on a target, which is obviously like actually having a defense. There's a thing referred to as heavy in this game, with some enemies having the heavy flag, where they are simply immune to instant death, and I assume if they're heavy, they're also immune to paralyze and other stuff, but maybe it's a different flag. Point is, many bosses are immune to being stunned, but not all of them actually, so that's cool. Most enemies are not heavy, so it's actually kind of amazing all the time. We also get a power drink here, which excited me. I thought, oh my god, a power drink. I can make my power higher with this drink. Until I realized these dumb fucks don't understand the concept of drink without a job, so every potion that we find in the game does nothing. I know that I too can only drink because of my job. I'm just kidding, I supply myself with cocaine. Anyway, Lena walks through poisonous plants and gets sick. Intelligent, you're holding a sword, but good, don't use it, whatever, and feeds the Hiryu, giving us access to flying around. At this point, there's a godsend, because let me formally say this, but fucking potions are the worst thing ever designed. I mean, understandably, using them before fights would be fine, and you could use a lot of them to max out your HP at any time, but just trying to fruitlessly heal in combat with them is impossible, and just getting less possible the further we go. Instead, we now can go to Castle Tycoon and collect the treasures they possess. Among them is the heal staff, which is ridiculous and represents the best healing I will have besides elixirs, and eye potions I guess, but just barely in any case. The heal staff, when used against a target, will cure them for several hundred, you know, like 7 potions in one swing for this bad boy. Now I just basically have to assign a full-time healer and have 3 damage dealers. Points to me for being an awful gamer, never wanting to slow the game down, so I often whack the enemies and fully heal them instead. Good. With the heal staff and the katana here as well, which is basically the highest damage weapon I'll have for a long time, as it's not only really powerful, it also can crit. Yeah, critting is an oddly rare concept in Final Fantasy V. I don't know why, but at least now I can do some extra damage if I hit a 12% chance. I think it's 12, don't ask me. It's not like I just played the game 50,000 times. Ignore that. We get a bell here too. Ignore that. Time to move on and head to Walse. Kick me in the balls. We're in Walse all this time. I've been buying shields and the like, which is cool. They really up your ability to survive with block chance, damage reduction, magic resistance, you know, all kinds of great stuff. The good news is that they're all going to be impossible to get soon. Not a single drop naturally appears or occurs at this point in the game. Thought for later, doesn't matter. Alright, we gotta hasten on. So the goal is to go to the Walse Tower and fight Garula, a huge elephant that's supposed to be like Ellie the Elephant from Donkey Kong Country 3, but it's more like Real Elephant from Will Stomp Your Fucking Ass. Ass spelt with a Z. The tower walk proves to be fine. There's whatever to say about it this time. As for the boss, well, yeah, we slaughter it. It's surprisingly too easy this time. Heal staff is very good. Whip, very good. Then the crystal explodes again because I don't know, it liked the elephant, and we get more jobs. Thanks. The tower sinks into the ocean and the devs figured it wasn't emotional enough the first time, and Sildra reappears and dies again. Final Fantasy V stuff happens and we go through a meteor teleporter and end up walking to Karnak. Karnak, my ball sack. The town of Karnak is where we buy those elemental rods, and they'll be abused now. Before you can go do that though, you are thrown into jail after buying anything, as you were seen emerging from the meteor, so obviously you are assholes. More buying weapons we won't be able to have in the real run again. In the jail cell you meet Sid, who blows a hole in the wall. By the wall, he complains that he just wasted his only shot with a bomb, bringing him into the adjacent cell, which is only particularly heinously stupid as hell, seeing as he can see where the bars are. Old dumb fuck. Anyway, once released we can go gear up and move into the fire-powered ship. This section is frustrating given the fact that after you complete this dungeon, you're immediately spit out into another timed dungeon. If you don't clear the dungeon fast enough, the game is over. Yeah, which is like mega game over for me in my case. We have to make short work, and that's where the rods really do come into play. I won't bore you with the specifics of the fire-powered ship yet, because we could run away to our heart's content. The dungeon is actually fairly annoying, with numerous enemies taking a lot of hits to put down, and there being several distractions I need to go attend to, like our first boomerang weapon and a helpful support item or two. Then the boss of Liquid Flame is disgusting. disgusting, honestly. It has 3 distinct forms, with each one countering being hit with a different attack, and it just changes when you hit it, I think. I'm not positive. I think every time you hit it changes. So it's just, a hodgepodge of damage, and I get fed up and throw an ice rod at it. The hand form is immune to that, and I start rapidly approaching death. Good to know. Then Lena, armed with what I thought was the heal staff, just punches ass in his face. It's just all falling apart. Fortunately, getting back to a vulnerable to ice rod form, we practically one-shot the boss. Yeah, I mean, they're that strong. After this, it's that time section, giving you 10 minutes. Remember when I said I am a total fool who doesn't lower the speed and it causes mistakes? Well, 4 times speed equals 2 minutes and 30 seconds to think about this part. This is a limited chance dungeon to get some good stuff, like a whole heap of elixirs and an incredible weapon called the Guardian. That's a mistranslated name, but whatever. The Guardian has a chance to negate a physical attack, meaning it's essentially a second shield. Its moderate attack means that I can get some good use out of it, and I'm all about that defense. Rod breaking carries here, allowing me to grab every single chest of importance and get to the boss, who I actually kill before he changes into the harder battle of Iron Knuckle. It's beginner's luck. It's just how it go. Then the castle burns down and gets some more jobs, suck eggs game. We talk to Sid, who is depressed. He thinks he is quite mid, but that's actually his grandson. We figure that he might rouse Sid, and we head off to find the ancient library where there's another free healing pot, so mark that down, keep it in mind. To the south I go, and fans of Final Fantasy V might find it amusing I walk on these particular desert tiles haphazardly without thinking at all. In this desert specifically is the Dorm Chimera, an enemy I have literally no chance of defeating through normal means. I don't count rod breaking as normal means, that would work actually, but with running aloud, that's all you need to do if you encounter the Dorm Chimera. At the library, we have to blast through a fairly short dungeon and fight 2 fairly annoying bosses to find mid, and I hate to say, but I learned very little here as I just rod break and murder both of them. I had really no idea how bad Ifrit would have been if I just fought it like a man. With mid obtained, we go back and see Sid, who is happy to see Mid, and Mid says he's having a son whose name will be Shid, and Sid says, did I just hear you say shit? And Mid says, God forbid I'd name my kid Shid, and Sid says to Mid to put a lid on it. Importantly, we now have a new boat, which is really going to let us go to many more places in the world. Right now, it's a pivotal moment as it opens up a lot of items, especially when you can buy stuff, shields, coral swords, all sorts. We just arm to the teeth, and that's great. And learn about fun enemies like the Bio Soldier. Holy fucking ass, what is this? The Bio Soldier, when alone, casts Bio, a full party hitting ability that does insane damage. Basically 2 casts and the whole party will be dead from full HP. Or how about the Skull Eater, which would have been better named the Ass Eater, because he one-shots everything and takes no damage from any attack. Basically, a Skull Eater is an instant fight loss and necessitates a flee. Except for the fact that the Skull Eater, after eating a skull or 2, will run away himself. That's nice. I never really have to come here. This is an optional area, but it contains a very nice weapon for my purposes, the Blitz Whip, which is powerful and just has an added Thundara effect, I think. Maybe it's just thunder, whatever. It's a bonus sum of elemental damage. So yeah, I'm happy to get this. After you're tired of running around and collecting things, you have to go and get your boat sunk near Crescent due to a whirlpool. How many times can Sildra die? Come on, one more time for old time's sake. Not this time. Sildra doesn't give a shit anymore, and you're able to go over and start riding a purple chocobo instead. This bird can fly over mountains. Fuck Final Fantasy III, and you can only land on forest tiles. You're basically supposed to take a flight back to the ancient library and hear why apparently is no problem that the boat they just made you sank immediately. Instead, it's time to go across the desert to the west, and to do that, you have to fight the Sandworm. Ah, the Sandworm, a boss that has janky, unfun mechanics and mid-fucking lies about. Alright, so here's what you're supposed to do. The Sandworm appears out of one of 3 holes, and if you swing at the Sandworm and he moves to another hole before your attack hits him, he'll cast Demi on you, and then meanwhile, you suffer a full party attack a lot that deals 60 and inflicts sap to everyone. A status effect where you take damage over time. Demi halves your health, just to let you know. And yeah, 60 damage isn't so much, except when you're on 4 times speed, because you're genuinely the stupidest person on Mother Earth, and you keep doing it. That being said, the Sandworm is weird and moves spontaneously, and you only get a sense of that after failing once or twice. And yes, fool I am, because fucking Mid lied. I could have just used rod breaking to pretty quickly kill this guy, but I got scared and didn't want to do it because he said, the magic not work. Yeah, so I could have, looked up guides. I get it, but this is my first time playing 5 in like 10 years, so I decided it would just go at it like a real gamer. A moron. So we're dead. Yeah, we are dead. The game fades to black and welcome back to the title screen. There is no file. It's surreal, honestly. It's like playing at a demo kiosk. The entire game is just gone. Time for round 2. Back again now with a new body part, balls, and I've got a more efficient idea on how to proceed. The game plays primarily in the same fashion, but I want to mention something this time, something that's omnipresent through every second I'm playing. This is no fun. I am constantly, unbelievably stressed. I can't just relax and take it easy. With the other challenges, I could just sit there and fucking hit things as porn for 10,000 years, but it's like, now I'm sitting on nails and eggshells gameplay, mostly nails, mainly up my asshole, and thinking about how low your HP will be going into boss and that you need to plan your steps up to them in the most efficient way possible and use items when you can in the easiest, safest encounters you can find, and also know everything about everything all the time. And it's only going to get worse. Take, for example, things like walking through the Tower of Walls and these dragon enemies, right? They cast Breathwing, a full party AoE attack that just shits all over you. In the case of this run, I am so stunned at being incredibly nearly dead randomly that I just panic and have to run from nearly the top all the way outside just to get back to an inn. Obviously, when money and running isn't allowed, it's going to be like a lot more annoying. I mean, I could fly to the healing pot, so money's no problem, but yeah, walking and running, big difference. Garula proves that if given the ability to strike, we are going to die, and that's why the whip with its paralysis chance is just an absolute carry for the fight. And honestly, so many random encounters as well. Oh yeah, learn something else. Stay out of the basement in Walse Castle. If I didn't give myself the ability to flee, I'd be pissed dying to this shit. For whatever reason, the enemies down here are insane, and spoilers, this isn't the last time something like this happens. And then again, Liquid Flame is legitimately bullshit. You suffer such an unbelievable amount of damage from this fucker, and look at this, just nearly dead immediately. Without rod breaking, the level requirement would be excessive. Food for thought. Ifrit and Byblos are handled in the same fashion as last time, and now we're back on the boat. Get all kinds of stuff and head back to Crescent, get pissed, get everything the same as usual, and okay, it's the Sandworm again. Now, I know the strategy. I'm prepared to not completely suck. With the long-range weapon of the Blitz Whip and the Moon Ring, I can just sit there and intelligently kill the boss. Okay, great. I did it. Then this bear afterwards, good lord, he just punches Lena in the head and she's out. It's typically what happens when you fight bears, but still, now I gotta go backwards and heal that. I do this dance of running around and getting clapped and having to return to some kind of pot or drink or bed all the time. Basically, everything in this desert and up to the deserted town in the south is annoying. Bombs, bio-soldiers, just a gauntlet from here to there. Fortunately, in the town and then in the underground subterranean lair that teleports you under Crescent, there's no enemy encounters and free beds, 4 of them. Imagine the luck. So yeah, simple as until we cause Sid and Mid to fall into a pit to their deaths, but fortunately, there's an ancient technological airboat down here. Gumble, 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 talk, 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 blah, 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 and then fuck, 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 the boss Crayclaw appears. And fortunately, rod breaking is so broken, it makes up for the fact that in my haste and terror, I hit him with a heal staff. And then I punch for 0 damage. I'm a good player. Now we have the airship and it's liberating. It's exciting. It's horrible, horrible news. You're now free to go anywhere, but it's not like much more has opened up. So instead, we just make the final dungeon of World 1 appear, which is a floating citadel of death, and return to the science boys, Sid and Mid, who say, the fuck? We saw that shit from here, which I question because how small is this planet that even if they were using a telescope, they were pointing in the correct direction to see something that's like only a few miles large. Or is it like the size of a moon and we traverse that shit in 15 minutes? Either way, stupid ass science boys. To get to the dungeon in question, we need more power, which we will obtain from the local meteor. Once there, boss fight, Adamantoys, and he starts by just absolutely punching Lena to death. One more swing and holy shit, we're going to die. Balls lives by the skin of his balls as he blocks the second of 1-2 punch combo this turtle likes to throw out. Galoof, Chad that he is, eats that shit and stands tall, and oh god, please just rod break, please work. Okay, good, it worked. We won't have this strategy to rely on later, so I have to plan for these bosses to the best of my ability. For this guy, I have no fucking idea. I think I'm just gonna lose the game. Afterwards, I go around and trying to farm, look for things, just generally, you know, get stronger, and I bump into Rama. Oh god, oh no, oh fuck. This is getting excessive. The experience farming potential in 5 is so trash it cannot be understated. Nothing gives efficient experience. This topic will return. My best bet right now, and a lot of the time, is the very famous Black Flame Islands. These islands have 100% encounter rates for the Black Flame, who probably give the most efficient XP per hour in the first world, and are hard as shit to kill physically. Fortunately, you can just buy rods, and that works good. Each time you kill the flames, it buys you back another rod, so you just dance around, do this, do that, farm Gil for more rods to kill flames. Eventually, I'm feeling ready to traverse into a new dungeon. Before that, though, it's the outside defenses for the floating castle, and it's a strange thing worth discussing. There's 4 random encounters with mounted turrets first, and I think they're random, choosing between the happy-go-lucky, kind-hearted flamethrowers and the fuck your mother rocket cannons. The flamethrowers just deal general damage and aren't that bad. The rocket launchers, confused, deal proportional damage and aren't afraid of anything. This is so incredibly easier thanks to rod breaking, and still, it's not free. You could easily die. So each encounter I win, I head back to town and heal, and then I finally get to contend with the Soul Cannon. This is, funnily enough, one of the worst bosses in the game, and I'm ready to spoil that fact for you. Fuck this thing. Right in its penis-looking cannon. Sadly, this is not a demonstration right now because rod breaking is insane still, but let's assess the facts that this thing inflicts old and is a vaguely timed fight. Only vaguely, because technically you don't die if it reaches its super charge attack, you only take half your total total health, so that's good, but there is a lot to say about the fight in general. So yeah, just hitting it physically represents a long haul, and since its attack is proportional, it doesn't matter how much health you ever have. So yeah, after that stupid boss is dead, it leads us into the dungeon, and this is a big place that houses some legitimately great upgrades. The gold shield and ancient sword are among some of the best items I can get for a while. The shield is obviously just better for me enjoying the concept of staying alive, and the ancient sword inflicts the age status effect. Strangely, a number of tough encounters can be screwed over with this thing, and it will be a mainstay swap for the party for pretty much ever. I'll show a few more examples of why this run is the worst thing ever as I try to heal as I'm confused, shot with spells, and just can't heal at all before moving into the boss, because for the most part I just spend my time running away from encounters. The first and only thing you've got to clear here is Archeoavis. Archeoavis is a strange fight, having 5 phases, with it being hard to discern when he actually changes over to the next one. Each one of the first 4 have 1600 HP and the final one has 2500. Balls in my stomach right here. Balls is balls in his stomach as well. Nervous battle, because right away it becomes apparent that I'm doing shit all to this guy. He uses different elemental attacks per phase, and when you start getting hit for all your health in a group fashion, it makes you wish you spent a lot more time on Black Flame Island. As the phases drag on, you deal more damage physically, and that's nice with the katana critting for over 600, but it's not like a free fight by any means. At the last phase, he uses every elemental attack he previously used and causes confuse and just being a real bitch overall, and that 2500 HP is steep when you're spending time hitting your party with the heal staff and trying to fruitlessly use Phoenix Downs to repair damage. Eventually though, we make it through and we are done with Archeoavis. For the moment. Ooh, I wonder if we'll see him again. With the Earth Crystal now shitting the bed, we learn what the plot of the game is, with X-Death, a super pissed off Warlock Knight Gardener man, who was actually kept at bay by the 4 crystals we miserably failed to protect. By the way, King Tycoon is here. Been a thing. I'm just ignoring a lot of plot moments for the reason that I'm staring at an ocean of footage. Spoilers, and I'm just so pissed off looking at King Tycoon. King Shithead, and that's what he's being. He's mind controlled right now. Lena and Varys are like, please, Daddo, stop-o this shit-o. And then Kryle flies in. This is Galoof's granddaughter, Kryle, and she just slams this guy like, oh shit, look at that, absolutely battered, like a fish. And he wakes up and says, ho ho ho, and then dies. The crystal shatters. X-Death takes a piss on the ground in protest. And then, yeah, Galoof remembers he's a Chad king from another world. Him and Kryle leave for the planet, and then our other 3 heroes have no idea what to do. So we go and talk to Mid and Sid, who have built a boat before, so maybe they understand space travel. Surprisingly, this works, but in order to power the meteors, we're gonna need more meteor rocks to put in the meteors. There's 3 bosses and they're different flavors of butt. The 6 bombs, large flying balls, will bust all over us if we do not finish them all off at the same time. Ludicrously disgusting. This is simple with rod breaking. Let's enjoy rod breaking when we've got it. Second boss, Titan. That was third boss, Chimera Brain. What the fuck is this? After that, we get the rocks to Sid and Mid, and the portal to World 2 opens. Before we leave, I spend all my money on more rods, more Phoenix Downs, and anything else I expect to need. I don't know what to expect at all, so I'll just take what I can. We valiantly jump into the pit and emerge on an island with nothing on it and no boat and no way off the island. We're dead. But we're not gonna starve right away, so why not sleep in a tent? And this is where we have to open the menu for the first and only time. While here, I get to see that I'm apparently level 27, so thanks, cool. Been a bit of time, and yep, we can just, hop straight into a tent and get some rest. Excellent. Once you go to bed, you are attacked in the night by the Abductor, the serial killer who's a sign of bad things to come. He instantly wins. He doesn't have to instantly win, but he does, so it doesn't matter. You're allowed to lose that fight, but it's not looking good. X-Death confronts you in the jail and trolls you a little bit before putting your faces on the global flat screen. Galoof sees it and gets pissed off and decides to help you by himself. Now you're stuck using Galoof only, which is a scary little proposition, and I don't like it. If you die somehow, the game's over. There's only a couple rooms and then one boss encounter, but the prospect kind of sucks. The encounters are whatever, but Gilgamesh here, okay, well, I don't know what to say about this. I guess I'll just show you the live playback. Yeah, okay, noted. Gilgamesh can kill you. That was nearly a complete waste of my life. As if this challenge isn't that already. We get the gang back together and head upstairs, and we have to cross the big bridge to get back to a town where there's an inn, and among other things, including the first place to buy high potions in the game. Watch this. Here's some context that will become important moving on. I figured there was no easy way to restore your party's HP before moving into the big bridge segment, but I was wrong. There is a healing fountain in Exdef's castle. He contracted the renovators and complained since he's an evil tree man and doesn't want water that heals his enemies on the first floor of his castle, but they'll have to get back to him along with the skin walls he wants. Regardless of my ability to fully heal before the big bridge, during those fights it's kind of hard to survive just with the heal staff and items. I'm either going to need more health overall or use more elixirs. And that's something we kind of have to discuss now too, because elixirs soon become the largest factor for whether or not I can weather some of the things in this run. Enemies such as the Moldwing and the Wind Shrine and those golems in the ship graveyard and zoos in the wild, they're all fairly accessible grinding spots for elixirs. You get one every so often, while getting 99 isn't like impossible, especially in the Wind Shrine. I just don't want to spend that time necessarily. It's an insanely tedious grind. I'm playing sped up 4 times though, so apologies if you think that's cheating. If you want me to arbitrarily waste my time, you should look at my idea for a Final Fantasy X run, but besides that, point is, we'll be starting by grabbing many more elixirs each run because it's simply the only way I can reasonably heal after a certain point in the game. Welcome to the world, Dicks, our last of the menu-only restrictions, so let's hasten through this so we get to the real meat, the real dick in my pants. In this shipwreck, I get up to level 16 and grab 20 elixirs. This is a nice baseline that carries me through for a while. Run through Magissa and Forza with the fury of a man who's pissed off that I'm fighting Magissa and Forza again, and with the higher level and greater level of confidence, I just defeat everything in my path. Back at the Liquid Flame, I'm just scared out of my mind again and have to rod break him. And this time, while escaping Castle Karnak, I actually spawn Iron Knuckle. Unfortunately, it's still not a hard fight. Everything is satisfactory until Biblos, who I forget uses Breathwing and just fucking kills 3 people to begin. On top of that, Ferris, while trying to break 2 rods over Biblos' head to win the fight, has the Omega block. Like, look at that, and just, okay, 4 times speed has got to go. It's not gonna go, I am the worst player in the world. Really though, I just want to say, there's a strange phenomenon while playing the game like this. It gets comfortable, relaxed, snoozy. You just overestimate your knowledge, the things that worked previously, and in the heat of the moment, with Biblos wrecking my party, I just didn't stop, use an elixir, change my row, and then go at it. I immediately thought about the turn time wasting, whether there was some status effect that the boss can inflict to kill me instantly. I just panicked and went for it. Point is, dumbass. Bad thing is we haven't even gotten to the parts of the game that are only luck-based to survive. I need to stop taking risks. Things progress similarly, with just more of an emphasis on grinding, getting me to a very high level. Even on Black Flame Island, doing this was like a full-scale committal. I get to the point where I was stupidly healthy, especially in comparison to what I was previously. Considering my power, let's just look at new stuff. The big bridge, no longer the big bitch. I can walk across it and get face-to-face with Gilgamesh in the first real battle against him. Fucking still hits hard with jump and the like, but rod breaking and all that jazz means we kind of just skirt by without seeing the full extent of his power. Without this massive health padding, I would not be walking through these encounters without absolutely needing to chug elixirs. After the battle, one which we will certainly return to talk more about, I get to a town, Galoof and Bart's drink and discuss how terrible that grind earlier was, and we can head towards new horizons. About that, there's this castle on the way. I figure it's a castle. I figure it's a safe castle. I figure it's not a house for this fucking enemy. Yeah, I'm moving on to the real rule set now. I'm pissed off. It was around this time that the fervor for the 5 run started bleeding into other videos I was watching. I kept seeing this run being brought up and I said, okay, just died to Shield Dragon in World 2 because I'm an idiot. I'm so bad. It's time to just make the challenge befitting of the hype, and yeah, it's time. With the full rule set in tow, there's some significant changes to the gameplay. For starters, it's fucking horrible. For continuers, without running, so many random encounters that no one has ever looked at twice will be looked at many times because they plunder my booty like a pirate. That's PG dialogue. We can get this video into more family homes. Fresh start, no more excessive vulgarity. And without the ability to buy items, the game rams a rod through your asshole colon and other undesired to be aggressively perforated areas of the body and makes you want to go out into the real world and buy a brick to throw at Nasir Gabelli. He's not even working at the company anymore. He hasn't been involved for the last 2 games, but still, someone has to pay for the arbitrary drop tables in 5. For example, let's talk about the beginning of the game. Goblins drop shoes. Thanks, fuckers. A lot of things drop potions, which yeah, that's useful for the very beginning maybe, but their healing efficiency is so poor that they rapidly become no practical benefit over opting to just attack in combat, especially late in the game where 50 big healing points is dwarfed by taking 700 damage in a swing. We'll get to the point where that's going on. And then mold winds, they drop elixirs, right? And they're right fucking here in the beginning. Pretty definitely the best spot to farm a large number of the things, and without inns ever being a thing ever again, a thing, and they are really more of a necessary thing to farm. Honestly, it's a mistake not getting 99 of them every single playthrough for various reasons, you know, we'll talk about it later. The issue is consistently the lack of desire to do nearly any amount of farming like this. It is mind shitting. It's brain shitting. Why did I say? Well, I'll admit I wrote mind fucking, but I said fucking too much. It's not fine. It's like cerebral enfeeble. It's an absolute chore. I loathe this game. Ignore that. Anyway, the truth of the matter is this: we're now boobs. The male-related body parts have had their time to shine. Let's look at boobs. It's always fun. Yeah, the early game progresses in much the same fashion as the other rule set. Grind levels and mold wins and grab as many elixirs as we can tolerate getting. Thing is, now we cannot maximize our offensive and defensive potential as we can't buy shields or any weapons, and the first shield that drops is in the floating ruins. So basically, we've got one leather shield for most of the game. We grind an excessively long time and find the wing raptor to be as easy as expected. I literally just break him into small cubes. It is funnily hard to ignore the chance of dying this early now because you can't guarantee that you can run all the way back to the healing pot downstairs. So instead of zone out and think about my balls for 4 hours, I have to constantly periodically check that we have enough health remaining. Afterwards, I feel like I have enough elixirs and stuff to head to Carl Boss and then get to the ship graveyard. And yeah, Carl Boss is as easy as he gets in the ship graveyard, while having enemies that are typically durable enough to take 2 whacks to bring down is smooth enough walk in the park, walk in the ship graveyard. With the free healing beds here, I take time to continue farming experience and more elixirs, and let me just introduce the topic of this strangely hard to find fucking document that possesses information on all the enemy drops in the game. Or for short, T-shit fididipidinating. It's more sensible than your average Final Fantasy X challenge anagram. Analgram. So essentially, I can predict and see what items are upcoming, and for your pleasure, let me consolidate my finding. We are not recovering any health without elixirs. The high potion, a cornerstone of World 2 shop buying, is frankly disgustingly rare, considering high potions aren't even that good to begin with. They heal 500. That's okay. It's okay, but it's not a lot. By the time we start finding them, the game is nearly over. As I said earlier, shields don't exist until mithril ones in the floating ruins, and weapons are all over the place, with decent ones existing around the time of getting the boat. As for status curing stuff, I have some bad news, or good news if you fucking hate me, but it's terrible. Sure, we can get antidotes. Those are 100% drop chance from bears for some reason, but how about eye drops? Eye drops do not drop until World 2, so I hope that doesn't matter. Even some things that do drop are rare drops from uncommon enemies, meaning I'll be stuck in some corner of some pit looking for a single way to cure Toad, and honestly, the risks of being in those pits means I won't be over farming them. I can't just sit in dungeons forever. But as the table comes into relevance, I'll be back to spout more shit about it. In the ship graveyard, we can now pick up daggers, which by coincidence happen to be a better weapon than everything other than the broadsword right now. The flail also exists here, and it provides worse damage than swinging boobs' nutsack at things. Want you to know that I scripted the plural of boobs with another Z. It cannot be helped. That's what it needs. Siren is moderately easy, but still kills someone due to being level, I don't know, something. I can't be bothered to do math to deduce it. Still a win though, and then I realized something wonderful. There's actually no way to heal for a while beyond this point. You can return to the beds down here in the ship graveyard, the safest place for a growing boy, but we have to get through an entire boss fight before we're back in a position to get to an easy spot to heal. For that reason, I just simply need like at least 5 more levels. I can't be walking around without way more durability. So a bunch of grinding. Oh boy, oh yes, love it. When I feel confident enough, we can go up the mountain trail. Sadly, this is indeed a hard place to wander around in. You have to insistently use potions whenever you have a dull moment, with one target left alive in combat, preferably sitting everyone in the back row and having at it. Good news though, Magissa and Forza aren't really any different, so that's something. They're never really complete pushovers, but still, whack, 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 suck my crack, crack, crack. Yuck. And we're back to the skies, which means we hit the major power spike for World 1. We get the whip, we get the katana, we get the heal staff. It's like Christmas morning. And to that end, another gift is this fucked up grind. The Walse Tower has 2 very noteworthy things. Rickald Mage. Who is Rickald? What is Rickald? It's an enemy that drops, guess what? A fire rod. It's literally just the best thing I've ever heard. Funnily enough, this is the last enemy. It does indeed drop a rod for a very long time, and the last time it's even remotely close to a decent thing to do. Also, the knight enemy here drops the regal sword, the highest power regular old sword I can get, so we'll go for that as well. As I always am going to need more experience and rods to break, I mentally note this as important spot number 1 of we'll fucking see how many. Don't remind me how long this game is. It's not even that long, but anyway, whatever. This is pit stop number 1. I spend as long as I can tolerate here because the mind numb gets to me at some point and we head up to fight Garula. Now, I may not have said this, but when you defeat Garula, the tower sinks into the ocean, meaning we can never return to farm more rods. We're stuck with the amount we've got. It's actually criminally sad that this is the case. Now, after the Walse tower, I remember that ever-present fun fact. There's no healing remotely accessible for a long time. I have to go past Karnak in its entirety in order to get to that juicy, succulent, fuckable healing pot in the ancient library. Sorry, the pot gets me a little hot and bothered, similar to the shit around here in Firetown. No more rod buying, so yeah, sucks, and jail time cutscene, it sucks, and then it's the fire-powered ship. On the way here, the copious wild knacks and turtles cause me enough damage to think I'm in a bad way, and in a bad way I really am. Still, we're in the ship, it's fine, it's just a little enemy like the crew dust. That's great, we can kill them very easily, and it's flash, and we're blind. We're blind in the middle of the fire-powered ship. Okay, it's time to run back to the meteor, and then fly to the wind shrine because the pot will cure the status ailment. It's only about 500 steps to get there. Let's go. You can guess the joke, I die. While trying to backtrack to the meteor, I just cannot hit anything. And thus begins the first time where if I was recording my brain, you'd see firsthand insane greed, and I just don't use those fire rods. Like, why don't I just use the fire rods? By the time I think to do so, I'm too hurt, too behind, too just Ferris, and we're dead. We're dead. First blood, strike 1 back to the beginning. Just like that. It's now that we're going to have to just for the sake of video production, jump back to the same spot, but feel free to imagine all the fun I have getting back to that point, and if I die on the way back to the same point we were just at, believe me, I'll show you. Welcome to the world, bums, with perhaps the name that inspires the absolute bottom of the barrel confidence in your ability to survive this challenge. Regardless, Bums has a similar start, and utilizing what I know now, I can effectively plot how much strength and how many items I need to bridge the gaps between safety and hurdle. And I get a few more elixirs than before, a few more fire rods that I will use this time, and a bit more experience to smooth out everything. And then the crew dust strikes again. As you can see, this happening basically ends the run, and I'm pissed it cannot keep happening. Why do I let it keep happening? Sometimes it's not my fault, so yeah, fine, okay, good. Back at the fire-powered ship again, with a crippling fear of that happening a third time, I make my way through this actually quite small dungeon and arrive at the boss's chamber. Okay, this is a fucking embarrassment, but I have to show it. I just have to show how I become the massive lobotomy man when I'm playing Final Fantasy V. I enter into the liquid flame fight quite fucked. Say that 3 times fast, holy shit. And that's strike 1. Strike 2 is just assuming that the ice rod followed by an attack will get me out of this fight easily, but nope. Strike 3 is literally just punching the boss because I forgot to re-equip the person who 5 seconds earlier broke the ice rod. I start being slightly more brain using, going for elixirs, but this perverted, sick, twisted hand starts fingering. I won't finish that thought. Hello, YouTube kids. And what fingering does is paralyze you with pleasure. So the randomly perfect selection of targets prevents me from healing in the way I want to heal. And then I just gun it for damage, thinking I must be right there, and nope, I'm not. You can amuse yourself watching this bad luck, also terrible, terrible gameplay. There's literally another one gone. Oh my god, it's glutes. All right, for the most part, I just did the same thing as last time, except I now have over 1,000 HP on everyone. I'm sick of the concept that I'm going to be out of fire rods or elixirs or whatever, health, life, so let's just get some grind shit out of the way earlier rather than later. Walse Tower is efficient for this sort of thing, and I'm sitting pretty with nearly 50 rods and a lot more stability overall. Also, it's around this time that I begin a vaguely allowed concession and start selling junk off. I'm actually not sure why that seems illegal. It's fine, I just got tired of having lots of garbage in my inventory that I couldn't use. Like turtle shells and these stat boosting potions. Imagine you could just use them, my word. Anyway, fire-powered ship for the 3rd time. It goes well, mostly. The fight with the liquid flame is sensible and healthy. The reality is I just don't care how much damage I take, I can just face tank, kind of. And also I don't mess up the rod and punching and shit again. Now we can look at Castle Karnak's timed explosion escape thing and get a bunch of free elixirs and the Guardian. I use fire rods to get elixirs and preservation of my own HP, and I clear all the monsters in the box chests, and then I leave. The boss Iron Knuckle doesn't even spawn because I just rod break and kill the sergeant before he can change forms. A good game. Crystals fall into hands. Sid says says he's mid, but really he's just Sid, and he feels like shit and drinks his troubles away as we go to find mid. Did this joke already. The library, okay. Ooh, the library. You wanna hear something funny? A little surprise for you. Take a look at someone I like to call Rumps. Rumps was this little fella who was about half as strong as Glutes and was quite comfortably able to get through the fire-powered ship and progress on towards the ancient library, where that full heal I desperately need is. Take a look at this. Yay! That is why we got up to 1000 health. Fucking Rumps! Except that's not all. Wow, another surprise! This is the worst video I've ever made. You might wonder why we're gaining levels. Well, this isn't the chronological order of the gameplay you might expect. Here's what I mean. Take a look at this shit. Ah! This is bitches. This is a file of similar strength to Rumps. I just realized the pitfalls of greed and figured I didn't need to spend another 10 hours grinding this early. Let's get back to looking at Glutes. Pause. We're ready to see how a competently powered fight against Ifrit can go. For the record, I have seen people beat this game at level 1, so discussion of whether or not level 30 something can be considered excessive, I don't know. I actually do know the answer is yes, but it's gonna get worse, so who cares now? Funnily enough, the Ifrit fight is an RNG check to make it easier, and the HP is really only a buffer against bad luck. The whip, for some reason, paralyzes him with a relatively low chance, and that's cool. It gives me a chance to just continually beat his ass if it works. And with the power level of the weapons, including crits with the katana, he falls soon enough. Since we're in the ancient library, I can backtrack and go drink from the lovely pot and then head back inside for Biblos. Rest of the dungeon goes well up to him, who has horrible counteractions if you physically hit him, so I just break rods over his head like the echidna he is. Is he an armadillo? What is this guy? He's not Biblos, he's Buttblos. Oh, I'm smart. We're back to Sid and we get a boat. With the boat, there's literally nothing I can really do now by exploring, since it was pretty much just go and buy stuff. I can now go get the Blitz Whip if I wanted, but the random encounters of Skull Eaters in there would basically kill me instantly. I have a solution to get that very good weapon later. All we really gotta do is bus our boat into the whirlpool near Crescent and get on the purple chocobo, which opens up a pathway to the Sandworm and then the airship. With the airship, I can get on to doing the final World 1 grinds, but before I get ahead of myself, let's talk about how I walked onto the one tile with a Dorm Chimera random encounter and nearly shit my pants. Fortunately, this literally otherwise unbeatable completely will kill my party enemy is defeatable with a single fire rod break. I'll do that then. Fun fact, it's not the last time I'm gonna need to do that. Spoilers, I suppose. You can see the video length, so it correlates directly with my penis length. At the time of the video, I mean, rather than like the literal size. I mean, how long is that? Nah, you could be watching this on a phone, right? Ignoring my gravitational girth, we need to actually go across the ocean with encounters that frankly have more health than you'd expect. Good thing we're level fucking 30. And then the chocobo.
Slow the fucking game down.
And we're back to the Sandworm. Just stomach this fight on slow speed and don't die. It's that easy. That's hard for me. I hate patience. Routine walking around after this leads us back to Crayclaw, and genuinely, he's a beast tank if you don't use magic, or jobs, or break rods, or give a shit. And I don't do any of that. So I just beat on his mega shell until he dies because Whip is broken and works on everything, it seems. Now we're into smooth sailing to get some more power and up our party strength to the highest tiers. The Doom Axe drops now and never again will go away if I don't get them, and is perhaps the best weapon overall in the entire run, so let's get them. Typically, the Axe classification kinda sucks, but for me is God tier because they deal between 50 and 150% of the damage range that they normally have, so it's sometimes bad, sometimes very good. Plus, it ignores either all or a majority of most defense, so for things that are wickedly thick, like your mom, I cannot hit them with anything other than an axe. Yes, hide your mother, I have my Doom Axe ready for her. That's a nickname for my gargantuan log that we previously talked about. The game? Well, if you insist talking about some boring shit like that, we're now sitting pretty with some Doom Axes. We'll get more later, and I want to try and open up the floating ruins for 2 huge benefits. I just realized this is not scripted, I didn't even say what the Doom Axe does that's good. It sometimes instantly kills non-heavy enemies with Doom when you attack, and from the back row, it works just the same way, so it's like whatever, it doesn't care. It's like insane. Shouldn't have talked about my penis so much, but what would I be without my dick? It would be me, but without my huge dick. Anyway, I want to go get those mithril shields that I've mentioned a bunch of times and up the team's survival. Also, getting the ancient sword in there might be the best utility upgrade in the entire run. So I want to spelunk, but in order to do that, we have to get through the 4 outer turrets and the soul cannon, which is something I'm greatly worried about, as the soul cannon has essentially 12,500 HP and casts a group-wide super nuke fuck ability on repeat. Gonna be great! Still, there's a boss before that, the Adamantoids, so that's whatever. Let's go kill that real quick.
What the fuck? Okay, slow it down. What the fuck? Alright, let's see if we can paralyze him. No. Thunderwhip probably does. Okay, stop holding. Oh my fucking god, no, please. No. Please. Fuck you. Alright, how much does this do? I just want to... Oh my god, what's wrong with me? It does nothing. It does fuck all. Use the fire rod. Use the fire rod, please. I'm a complete idiot. No, for fuck's sake, please. No. Get in the back row. Get in the back row. Jesus Christ. Okay. We can just rod break him. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please let me use... There's no fucking way! He attacked 4 times before I get to go again? What the fuck is that fight? Why is he hit so he gets harder than next stuff? Oh my god. Welcome to the title screen, everybody. We're back. Oh my fucking god, this video sucks.
You cannot be serious. Welcome back to the Moldwinds. Lesson learned. Literally, do not be dog shit. Also, maybe back row when using Whip's dickhead. Also, get more levels apparently. You'd wonder how much more a man could take from all this time waste. I mean, you heard me there, live. I was pissed. I'd spent like a whole Saturday afternoon doing it again. The next run after farming even more, just picture the sheer focus and mental power after getting extensively too strong and being named Licks. Licks had a life like most others to begin at least. It spent forever grinding elixirs. Look at that pun, fucking hit me with a hammer. It spent a lot of time getting stronger than ever before. When we churned through the bosses and got to those glorious farming spots, the adamantoids still beat my ass, but I brought a bunch of doom axes and an ice bow, so yeah, good.
Just use the fucking rods!
Then it's time for the flying ruin defenses, and just look at the shitheadery. 2 rounds of rockets in a row, and these are wildly annoying. Even with my hyper advanced levels, I'm just knocking on death's door. I've got my dick in the keyhole. And then there's a 3rd rocket. Thank you, love it, good. Really, rocket punch having my health just kicks my balls, and the confusion to boot. It just makes my job so hard and so stressful. 1 flame gun fight. That's nice, that's appreciated. Bastard game. Time for the soul cannon. This is going to suck. Again, 12,500 HP is crazy, and it's a hyper advanced death laser while we're basically cavemen with sticks. But before that, want to see some life lessons, such as slow the fucking game down? It's testes. Well, I want to just kill the shit in the back. That sucks so bad. I think we have to just... Okay, just one ult. Good, perfect. I think we can just kind of like tank. I like Galoof die, so I can res him when he's not old. Old fuck. That old fuck Galoof. So, yeah, that actually hurts a lot. He can't survive another one of those, but he can't. Here. I mean, that just sucks. That takes so much effort. Why did he hit for 100 still? That fucking hurts. Alright, I'm just gonna try to kill this thing. It's gotta be pretty close. I don't want to blow like... Oh god. Alright, I'm not gonna fucking... I didn't mean to swing. This sucks ass. Alright. Yeah, I gotta just blow elixirs. There's just like... There's no alternative. Oh, why are you hitting for 80? Good 80. Oh my god, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to blow all my elixirs. Why are you hitting for 80? Is old still affecting you? I'm gonna let Galoof die because he just sucks. I didn't mean to not help Ferris though. Come on, just... Okay. Okay, that's so bad. Just gotta stay the 2 of us alive. Alright, when it says like power 128%, we... Oh my god. That was fast. Why is it so fast? Just kill him. No, this is so bad. Oh my fucking god, Bartz. You're gonna die. Oh my god. I need to like hit him one... How much health? Why does he get so many rounds? Don't miss. Okay, let me go. This is so fucking stupid, dude. What is the fucking soul cannon? Use the fucking rods! Just break rods! You're not everybody else. Just break fucking rods! 20 fucking hours down the drain again. Oh, come on, get your head in the fucking game, asshole. The real truth is, some bosses and some portions of the game are just necessities of usage of items, like a lot of them too, not just a few. The soul cannon is a hard requirement for either level 95 or 20 elixirs to give me time to whittle down a huge HP pool. Or I could break a lot of rods, but to be honest, I could get more elixirs, I can't get more rods. A bit of both may be the fun middle ground, but you'd be surprised the hesitancy that gets me killed too often. I could use more stuff, but the idea that I need it later just makes me die now instead. Maybe that's for the best. I'm only partway into the entire game. If we look at the big picture, taking risks early is less disastrous. Licks, back on the other hand, is a little better. I go and get the Blitz Whip, which is a scary proposition because it involves walking into that cave I mentioned earlier with the Nut and Skull Eaters. And those Skull Eaters will guaranteed kill 1 or 2 party members, but oftentimes they'll just flee, so it's not a hard endeavor to get a great weapon upgrade. As the external cannons are weak to lightning, the proc chance of an extra bolt of lightning makes that just the most efficient efficient weapon for them. The soul cannon just in any capacity is a real pain. You always have to start with 2 rod breaks to destroy 2 small accessory cannons that don't really have a hitbox. You can't really see them. They're back there, into going for the big axe damage rolls. And as you can see, between heavy hits and katana crits and ample shits, we can kill this thing. I opt to keep only 2 of my party members alive as we fight it because fuck, it's gotta be hurt. I've been here for 8 minutes and yes, it's dead. Welcome back to the floating ruins. Great news that is, as this place contains my first party-wide obtainable shield. So on the list of things to do is farm 3 mithril shields, go and grab the golden shield chest and the ancient sword, kill Arcuavis, and essentially get us to World 2 again. Funnily enough, the floating ruins are terrible to walk through. It's a big dungeon and there's a long stretch of potentially bad encounters. Status ailments I can't heal, things that deal a lot of damage, stuff with high HP and defense. Basically, we have to high roll with the doom axes and take care of every single encounter with the instant kill proc chance. And you can imagine, that's a dumbass strategy. It's in line for my channel though, so good. If things do go south and I'm not too far into the dungeon, I can run back to the airship, and believe me, sometimes that retreat can be harrowing. Like, look at this time that Ferris is the only person left alive, with a hole in her ass, in addition to the one that's normally there. A silver lining to doing this is that we get some decent experience gain, but it's still so bad. Hey, speaking of this place, want to see something fun and enjoyable? Something about the life of a young man named Nads. What? Who? What? Why are you doing this to me right now? What the fuck is this? Hey! Wait! What? No, it's gonna no way! What the fuck? Who the fuck is that? Okay, I hate this fucking game. Fucking game sucks. Okay, it's the Hydra. Yeah, it's just like war mech apparently. It's a random encounter and it's rare and surprisingly probably harder than 90% of the bosses in the game. It always has perma reflect, casts full party fuck you spells, and has a relatively high amount of health. It drops a phoenix down. Basically, the lesson here is to not trust that dungeons are not going to drop a new random, I've never before seen enemy into my face. Because through the several times I got through this dungeon, I never ran into the Hydra. And yes, I could easily go and study the game first, but honestly, that's dull. You cannot conceptualize what awaits you. You have to experience it, and then you have to inherently remember the pain of every encounter, the trouble you face at every turn, each step of the way. Plus, I've got rocks for brains. It's Arcuavis time. This is a simple fight kinda that involves slowing down, hoping for a bit of good luck with non-party hitting attacks, and just taking it easy. He can't exactly surprise you, although on occasion, you do narrowly randomly die. You gotta just keep whacking. He inflicts blind, which is no good, but he doesn't enough, you have to care about it, but if you just keep at it, you will win. Mind you, I could explain that he has a very high amount of health with phase changes, and the final phase has him randomly able to use abilities from the other phases or whatever, but I'm not even remotely tackling this fight how a normal player would. I just hit him with axes. Welcome to my walkthrough. I hit the boss 50 times and he dies. Yeah, anyway, time to lose Galufa again and have these 3 boss fights before World 2. Easy rundown. The bombs, rod break. Titan, hit him until he shakes his ass in a desperate final attack and dies. Chimera Brain, Doomax one-shot, instant kill, bing. Boom, 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 boom. And it's time for World 2, so into the hole we go. Now that we're finally back at the big bridge, it's dawning on me, and I'm really sad about it, but I need to get more levels. I can do that now. It's fine to grind here, since XDEF does have that wonderful healing pond out back. I just don't. I just didn't. And then it was Gilgamesh. This first Gilgamesh encounter is insane, genuinely. It's really hard. There's a soft RNG check where I basically need to inflict age on him with the ancient sword. Not getting that luck means that when he becomes Super Mario and stomps my ass halfway through the fight, I'm just gonna take unreasonable damage and die. And yeah, just watch. Bask in it. I became so attached to Lix, you know, and all, just to let him die because I won't rod break as much as possible. It's kind of a point of honor, honestly. I just don't want to rely on that for everything. Also, if I did it on every boss, I'd run out of them pretty quick, and I imagine I'll want them for much later in the game. I don't know. I could play the game normally to see this shit. Just can't be bothered. Love dying for no reason. Favorite thing in the world. Now that Lix is dead, I'm thinking, what would one Lix? And it's time for Cheeks. That name does not inspire confidence. This time, though, it's all about that grind time. Earlier, the better. And boy, we get a lot more levels than any human ever should. The best spots to grind in on this run are enemies that pose little random danger or offer items, decent experience density, and are relatively close to a healing spot. It takes so long that I find I I bounce from place to place for sanity, looking for fun however I can. And sometimes, like with these little dragon enemies, I realize it's not even worth trying to fight the most experience-rich targets because they have a billion health, dodge everything, and inflict shit all the time. But the desire just to see 1,000 experience is so great. After a very satisfactory amount of grinding, so much fucking grinding, everything is no problem, with Arcuavis being the only thing that kind of nearly almost wins, which is heinous. Damn, look at that fight, you. Then Titan, for instance, is just bullied to fucking hell. I shove his head into his juicy, muscular, well-formed, massive ass. He's bending over already. He's ready for his head entry. Entry, one could say. Thanks for coming. The other two, yeah, bing bing, easy does it. Let's get back to the big bridge. The fights prior to the boss aren't much different, and in fact, I end up having to rush back to X-Def's glorious healing pond a few times due to bad luck. With so much more health, it's definitely overall easier, but the fight with Gilgamesh still is not simple. The only difference is that I do in fact land the age status effect. So he just withers into shitland and the battle rages on. Now dead and half of us also dead, it's time to walk off the big bridge and get to our last scheduled free heal for quite some time. After the town gives you an event restore, you can't use a pot, a bed, a magical force of free healing until after the Valley of the Dragons. That's a long fucking ass ways away. So we do make it to the town, and then we do skip the stupid shield dragon surprise castle and make it to new content. And it's awful, as in terribly made part of the game. It's boring, stink. For the menuless shitty power run we've got here, the enemies in the water canal or whatever are incredibly durable. They're so durable, in fact, that 4 Doom Axes and hoping for the random lucky one-shot is literally the ideal strategy in comparison to some of these crabs taking 3 or more fucking whacks to deadify. Fortunately, the boss, on the other hand, was programmed by some guy who was tired of having to playtest shit and figured a random weakness of dies to a single Phoenix down was a good idea. The kicker is there's a Phoenix down right at the boss fight. It seems like they just hated this boss. They should have had Bart's called the Tyrannosaur a piece of shit after the fight. Then you gotta walk carefully after a Moogle, who shows you the right path, deviate and touch the sand, and I'm pretty sure the game's over. I'm going to die immediately. So yeah, say it with me, slow the fucking game down. We saunter over to the Moogle Forest, and here we get the highest damage potential weapon, kinda, for a long time, the old Dancing Dagger. This is basically a weapon that uses the Dancer's dance ability, and if you sword dance, a random effect that happens when you dance, you honestly deal like 2,000 damage. Kinda wild and totally impractical, because several of the other dance effects are terrible, dealing small damage, leeching small damage, confusing the target, stuff like that, shit that I don't want. Still, the high roll potential is super worth it to me, and it seems to even cut through enemies with pretty good defense. After you demonstrate Cheeks' Moogle fursona, Kryle gets a distress beacon from the horrified Moogle population and arrives to escort the gang out of the forest. Back at Castle Ball, my kind of place, we decide to help Kryle's Hiryu out by fetching some tasty poison shit from the nearby valley. We can get EP from the water. That's the worst translation I've ever seen in anything. It's supposed to be called the Regal Cutlass, apparently.
Epi, it's Epi, give me Epi short.
Okay, go outside, kill Abductor. I mean, how many of these are there? Is it the same guy? Is this some piece of shit? And relish in the fact we have no fucking ability to heal anywhere anymore until after this dungeon. This whole part of the game is upsetting. It's so bad. You can look at it like there's landmines of status effects everywhere, all over the place, including frogs that toad, but a different species. The frogs should frog and the toad should toad, you know what I mean? But the walk to the valley is short, and it's not the real problem. The true issue is that this dungeon is home to some zombie dragons. Hoo boy. Here's some score for you to know. Undead enemies instantly revive upon being hit with death, doom, all those things, so you can't do that. So I have to whittle, and whittling these guys takes a long while. While I'm whittling, they're whacking my ass apart in many ways. The damage is higher than I can reasonably handle, especially with the super group hitting 4 party member causing poison attack they like to use. The whole place is full of bad enemies, but funnily enough, only in the caves. Outside in the fresh air, there's a lot more forgiving encounters. For instance, the Drippy. Little guys are great for refueling with back row sitting, heal staff hitting shenanigans. Otherwise, very bad place to be. Tyrannosaur reskins being harder than the boss hit me for a large sum of damage and retain the immunity to death thing, so you can imagine how often in my haste, I forget that one of my party members is currently wielding a Doom Axe and then I hit the enemy and fully resurrect it. Bad. Another fun aspect is when you're desperately trying to repair your party's health on the intermittent easy enemies outside and you get visited by stupid-ass, loser-ass Golem who slaps you in the face once before running away. Legitimately, it's just a random tax. If you think I'm going on about this place too much, let me show you something. Come here, fun fact. Help you realize why we ground so much earlier. I tell you, I'm just fucked now. I'm just totally fucked now. Oh my god, Golem, you fuck. You. Oh my god, that's almost funny. That's almost funny. I'm just fucked now. I don't have any recourse. I'm dead. I'm dead. There's no recourse. There's no healing. I have to get into an encounter. I have to hope I go first and use the elixir. I'm literally fucked. I'm literally just fucked. I have 1 health. It's gonna be Golem again. No, please. The drippy. The fucking drippy. Oh my fucking god. The drippy. The drippy, no. Drippy. Drippy. Yeah, I've been here before. Little did you know, this run was not right after the last one. Fucking unbelievable. And what a teaching moment. Drippy death. It's wild. And that might be the world's first drippy death ever. And the fact I lost a whole file, it's the most damage Drippy has ever done. So the truth of the matter for Cheeks is that we can't possibly ass around. We gotta cure poison as much as possible. Farm encounters outside the cave areas to make it that much more likely we can just skirt on by without alerting the zombie dragons. And finally, make sure to pick up the important sword, the Air Blade, with our very first consistent and incredible group attack ability. Sometimes when you're swinging, it just uses Wind Slash. It hits everything. It does like 1,000 damage to everything. It's insanely good. This will kind of be one of the weapons I end up leaving on forever because that wind pierces through defenses. The normal swipe soon becomes irrelevant, but dealing 1,000 is always pretty good, especially in fights with 5 targets or something. Which, speaking of the boss, it's called the Hiru plant, which is kind of a bad translation. It's supposed to be the dragon pod. It has a bunch of extra spawns alongside it, and I decide I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm going to throw 15 fire rods at him. These little ads, they spawn forever. The things that do all the damage. The main guy doesn't do anything. He just sits the fuck around. I have no interest in dealing with this. Contending with multiple attackers constantly, especially because they inflict old, confused, paralyzed, poison, or blind. Really, there's no good way for my rule set to deal with this boss. The flowers only have 100 health each, but they come back so fast I wouldn't be able to keep up and just like hit them and then do anything to the boss. And then additionally deal the 12,000 damage necessary to kill the big one. So new note to make, have enough rods for this part. And once we kill the boss, we can head back. And yes, thank you game, I have to walk the whole way back. I am fairly uncomfortably hurt at this point and would enjoy not having to somehow walk past those vile drippies again. There's no choice though in employing the same strategies of careful walking as I did before we emerge out of this hole. Once we're done with a small walk back towards Castle Ball, I gain access to a Hiryu again and can fly towards a new free healing spot. First though, we're told that a fucking turtle can help, alright, and we fly to chat with him, and then XF sinks the entire island. Turtle was too dangerous, but how did he sink the island? It's a little questionable, a little strange, asshole. Several times in this game, you're just gonna go do something and then XF remotely somewhere across the world somehow destroys your plan. It's like, what is a bomb in the island or some shit? I'm gonna get my lawnmower out, my edge trimmers. Now with the island sunk, all we can go do is find a fleet of ships attacking XF's big barrier and go inside. Can you even fathom the nervous nature of traveling around new areas with no idea what possibly could be coming? I'm gonna keep reiterating this fact. You may think preparation is easy and the key to success. Yeah, of course it is, but go ahead and try to just read a wiki and predict the random ass things that will bother you. I tried it. I watched videos about the entire game. I knew the boss is coming up. It's just that you're not going to remember every detail, and I kind of figured it took something out of the challenge if I just studied everything constantly. What would that dialogue be?
I got some tea, and I sat and I read about this boss, and then I killed the boss. Thanks for the money. I put my dick in your mouth.
You also just can't predict random things that will help you, such as the fact that Gilgamesh is here, and while you might think a 2v1 sounds like a challenging boss fight, you can... Wait, it's not a 2v1, it's a 2v4, or whatever. Great writing. You may think it sounds like a challenging boss fight, but you can still inflict old on old Guild, and Enkidu can instantly be killed by death, so those Doom Axes come in handy. That's nice. Yeah, by the way, there's a free bed on this boat, and you can use them as much as you want. Fortunately, after you defeat Gilgamesh, you're told that it would be smart to take a submarine underwater to access the barrier tower, which supplies XDef with this ample dome that covers his home. I do this a lot. I think I've already done it in this video, but I wrote, should have just bought a big pot to sit in. I have no idea who I'm talking about with that. Am I talking about the pot I drink from? Am I talking about XDef? But why would I say that XDef should just have bought a big pot to sit in? What the fuck? Anyway, at the barrier tower, Zeza says we should scale up the whole thing and he'll stay at the bottom and blow up a bomb and die. Sounds good to me, fine. The barrier tower is among those places in the game that you just kind of have to experience because there's these neon enemies who very, very frequently cast full party blind inflicting attacks, and you could imagine that would represent literally the entire end of the run. Like, you wouldn't have a chance if we weren't so lucky to have free healing beds constantly constantly available at the bottom of the tower. Literally, that decision from the developers is the biggest save in the run, because in addition to the blinding enemies, we have barrier knights who reflect doom back on me if I'm using the axes, so none for them, large enemies with lots of HP, wizards, general shitheads. It's a gauntlet of gravitos, and the place is big, so if anything happens to us near the top, we have a choice of pushing forward or going all the way back down to heal. And it's dangerous and requires a deft hand and a large brain, quite foreign concepts to me. Our levels being absolutely heinous does help, and we bungle about until we make it to the top with Atomos in an iconic fight in 5. Here's how it works. He throws his hot balls in your face. Someone has to die because that shit hurts really bad. He'll just do it until somebody dies. After someone's dead, he starts sucking them. He's a disgusting degenerate. Then when the dead person reaches his mouth, they are sucked into a new dimension. That sounds like a good time to me. And then he starts the process back all over again. This is hard and intense, but truly not implausible to make 100% safe. Basically, take out our best arsenal of damage-dealing weapons and hit them as much as we can, while letting one party member be dead. Once they're about to be devoured, revive them and hope someone far away dies instead, and then just keep hitting away. We win. It was really close and bad. I undervalued how hard that was going to be, and more story happens, and we're given an on-the-go free bed device in the submarine. But I don't even care about the submarine. I'm just looking at the beds. I have the ability now to go talk to that turtle, Guido, I don't know, and a new dungeon, and the place is terrible. It's horrible. It's horrendous and should be filled with water. But I don't get it, but it's just filled with metamorphs who suck, and radiators. The translation is terrible. Makes no sense to me. That's not a slime. That's a radiator right there. It's funny, the radiators are actually the best enemy to encounter here, but the metamorphs are among the worst things in the entirety of the second world. The gimmick is these old men, they become youthful, virile, Ifrit, and other things as they want. Basically, it just chooses a bunch of previously seen enemies and bosses, which is fine when it picks not the zombie dragon, fucking Drippy again. Drippy from my Pippi. That's terrible. Additionally fun, for some reason, this enemy doesn't give any experience. Okay, yeah, thanks. The dungeon has pretty much 100% of this guy, and it's horrible. Some of the random selections can blind me, some of the random selections are durable. It's just an RNG fest in here, and if you don't kill the transformation quick enough, he returns to being metamorph and seemingly can have infinite HP, because I don't think the damage you deal to the duplicate counts unless you fully kill it. Suck. At the bottom, we find the turtle, and Bart just hits him with a stick, because why not? He's big brain. We're told to go to the Forest of Moor, which is the penultimate dungeon for World 2, and we're in the weeds now. We're in the rough. Get the wedge out. The wedge is actually just called 90 elixirs. I need a lot of them. Once at this point in the game, we can do a few things, but really, the only place to upgrade our gear and get stronger for the final dungeon of the world is the forest, and it sucks so bad. The other thing we can do is farm items all over the place with the submarine, like Phoenix Downs, but that's not possible. Like, I don't even think about it. The enemies that possess them are these druids, right? They have an ability that reads, "You're fucking dead" immediately. And it's not just dead, it's super dead. As in, you're ejected from the fight and don't exist. But whereas other games in the series have similar mechanics and they would let you, keep being alive if the rest of the party was ejected or killed in combat. No. With these guys, the game's over. So I'm not risking it. They're too healthy, they have a good dodge chance, and if it goes too long, I'm dead, and it's very plausible that would end the whole run. So to the forest I go after I walked out of Guido's dwelling, and yeah, this goes so fucking terribly. Look at the quality of the party, they're just disgusted. Glenn is a blind zombie, for goodness sakes. I start having to desperately rod break because I can't get out of here, and we make it back to the submarine barely, and I get to learn something really wonderful. Of all the random decisions when designing this game, you cannot cure zombie without using a revivify item. The bed doesn't fix it. Like, why? What the fuck? I think this is the only one. Even Toad is cured by these godly beds. Imagine going to bed as a Toad and you woke up, you're fine. Stupid dickheads need to get kissed on the penis all the time.
Just go to fucking bed.
Point is, I don't have a revivify. That means Lena is essentially permanently dead. Also, she's hitting me. But in a stroke of hilarious luck, the enemies that just became available can drop this item. And it takes one fight. That's just cinema, as they say. Just like pure shit in my face, because now I gotta sit here and farm 10 of these things before I feel comfortable leaving. The bold Manny, I don't know what that means. Maybe it's like bold, meaning bold enough to rip a hole through the fabric of space and time, and man, I would run away from this thing if I ever saw it. But anyway, they're annoying to kill en masse. In fact, at this point, everything is annoying to kill en masse. I just sit around hoping my Doom axes work their magic, mostly giving up hope that our damage otherwise is good enough to play the game. The air blade is still amazing, but even when it procs, it doesn't even kill the group. The XP is still terrible, by the way. Like, a full group of these enemies is only given 800 225 experience. I've acquired like 1 million total at this point. It is sickening to discuss how much time each of these runs has wasted, but I get more levels, like, 1, and I get my items and can start looking into the Forest of Moor. Worst dungeon by so much to this point, it's crazy. It's a terrible place full of just outrageous bullshit. Every encounter is a stack of 4 things with massive health pools, high dodge chances, enemies that cast mini, and the kicker, it's a long haul walk to the end. It's not a short walk in the woods at all. There is no good side to it. There's 2 really great items to collect in the woods, and they're really deep, those being the Flame Saber and the Aegis Shield, the best shield in the game, actually. The sword is just strong. It's got a fire affinity. It'll be good for stuff, but the Aegis Shield gives a 33% chance of blocking a magic attack. That's pant nut tier for me, because there's no way to just sponge some of the terrible effects that can hit you, but this thing can. Plus, it permanently blocks Petrify, which is insane. That just removes a struggle from several encounters, including the final boss. So good, we can get all sorts of fun things for the whole family, including Galoof, who dies as soon as we get through the forest, but good news for him, I'm never gonna get out of here. I have to leave 50 times just because something goes wrong. It's persistently annoying to be 30% of the way to the end and suddenly Lena's dead or Cheeks is minied, and you don't want small Cheeks. You want a huge fat fucking ass at all times because it can take the absolute pounding that is necessary to win the game. Yes, officer, that is the way I like to talk. Sometime later, in my stupor of stupidity, we get to the point where XDev lights the whole forest on fire. Smoky fucking bear, nowhere to be found again. Idiot. This is actually good because it means we have reached the Aegis Shield and also the Moogle Hovel, where some Moogles hide from humanity's gaze and also have a pond with bitchin' ass water in it. Glug time. Now we fully heal and restore our position here, which is handy and still necessary. Honestly, even though we're 90% through the dungeon, it's hard to walk to the boss, and that boss is the crystals, one that prior research really helped make sense of. Because I'd be shit on as fuck if this strategy did not work, and let me explain why. There's 4 crystals here, each one corresponding to a different elemental affinity. They have a lot of HP, and upon being damaged enough, start sweltering your party with massive damage, hitting everyone constantly. You can't survive it. So my stupid strategy of hit things until they die would not work here. In fact, the slowness in which that proceeds would lead me to a point where death is guaranteed. So this would either be grounds for getting to level 90, which no, don't think about that shit. Don't think about it, or having to pack it up and give it in. Luckily, these things aren't heavy and can be killed instantly by the Doom Axe for some reason, so great, that's it, problem solved. Except the chance is rather low, and if we get unlucky, we're gonna deal too much damage and they're gonna get to the second phase anyway. Happily, Galoof is tiny right now, and that means he'll deal no damage physically, but the Doom proc chance can still happen as usual, so it's like a free attack. We batter, we bash, and all 4 die to the Doom, and that's Galoof's last battle. Goodbye, Galoof. After winning, XDev swoops in covered with gasoline and carrying 40 empty Bic lighters and starts shooting lightning bolts from the crystals, which literally, physically slams us against the wall. Feel we should die, but I'm not a Superman. Cryle comes in and just, again, shoots a fuck you warning shot and then tends to her grandpa. The rest of us can suck ass, apparently. XDev gets pissed because the first person to injure him in this entire game so far has been the little girl and starts directly killing her. Galoof stands up in man mode it, and I worry the game will delete his equipment for some reason and give him the most basic bitch stuff I can and let him hit XDev 500 times. After being hit with 40 million damage, Galoof is feeling his prolapsed anus causing him death and dies. If you want more of the emotional impact of the scene, play the game instead of listening to me. It is great though, second old man in the series to die in the same exact way. 2 is so good, no one ever dies like Minwoo. He dies opening a door, it never happens again. After that, Galoof reaches out to Cryle through the afterlife and bestows her literally nothing, and in fact doesn't even give her his pants. She is unique in the sense that she doesn't get any armor by default. Galoof had the leather armor on, so genuinely our party just got weaker, and it's time, it's XDev Castle. It's not good news. This dungeon is wildly hard, being ridiculously long and chock full of outrageous encounters. Especially outrageous when you have no abilities, can't run, and can't heal once in the dungeon outside of combat. You may think that there's that handy healing fountain, but no, XDev finally installed the flush component on his big square toilet, so the water is gone. Really, there's nothing to do except go through and grab some very enticing treasures and perhaps leave and go back and heal in the submarine, but that's kind of questionably doable. I'm not kidding, there's 13 floors, and this is the first place with unavoidable and plentiful damaging tiles. You know how butt that is? Very. Those damaging floors are also near the top, near the boss fight that I have not been excited for at all, because it's butt. Again, as well, but there's not just a hard boss to contend with, the enemies are also crazy for various reasons. First, there's a lot of them with just high density of HP. They're thick, meaning we're not going to get through them them easily. Take the golem with enormous physical damage hits who come packaged with little rabbit shits who cast life too when they're killed. So if you kill the rabbit, they could either resurrect themselves or resurrect the golem 4 times in a row. No joke, if this encounter appears, there's about a 90% chance I just probably have to leave the whole dungeon when I'm done. Or wall mages who have permanent reflect on, making my Doom Axe a complete liability to use. Blind wolves are surprisingly blind innately, so they frequently miss, but they too can inflict blind. Blind has been such a pain in my ass for me, as well as my eyeballs, as I just have not been able to farm any eye drops. The good news is that blind wolves drop eye drops. Okay, why don't they use them? Thoughtless wolves. So we'll farm them for a while at the very least, because the more status repairing items I have, the better. Dark wizards are also here, and they just about cast everything a boy could hate, such as death, banish, stop, confuse, and they frequently are paired with Bander Corel, who have the instant death attack blaster. The wiki encourages you to either hit these with powerful quick killing magic or flee. Thanks! This is like barely the halfway point of the dungeon. Dozens of times I just leave in fear because I'm scared. I've been playing this file for so long at this point, I don't want to see those mold winds again. I've noticed numerous times I've said mold wings and mold winds, and I have no idea which is right. We'll see in post. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. But speaking of them, I am running dangerously low on elixirs because so often they are simply necessary to survive any random encounter, especially considering the top floors of Exdeath Castle are ridiculous. There's the damaging tiles. They're everywhere. Yep, that's a problem. They're not soft either. They dramatically lower your health. And the great 1-2 punch is when you're on those floors and you get a really hard encounter to jump right into. I'll point out first the few things that have made life easier here, and that's the Ice Brand, the good sword, the Diamond Shield, amazing defense, and finally the Gale Bow, which is a slight negative on account of being a bow, but is the most consistently high damaging weapon I have access to. On attack, a lot of the time you'll use Rapid Fire, which attacks 4 times with randomly selected targets. The damage per shot gets reduced, but typically all things considered it deals about 1600 damage total if that effect goes off, which is quite amazing on single target fights. I've not been exaggerating about the dangers of this place though. It's bad, and with the new enemies up here, it's something I just gotta show you. It's fun. Look at this. Take a look at this great gameplay. Oh boy, it's not our first time in here either. I'm full of deception. The yellow dragon is the worst enemy in the entire game so far. It has a lot of health, it casts full party hitting super lightning, and it's extremely common on these floors with the damaging tiles. So you can see I'm aware of the risks of this part. So close to Exdeath, Sax could have dragged his sack on his face, but instead dead immediately. I didn't have my microphone on, unfortunately, so there's nothing to hear, but know that my heart sank, and you can all know that Cheeks has had a very stressful memory of Sax on its mind this whole time, which is why this is funny. Well, we gotta blow all of our elixirs now, because there's just no fucking way we can't. Trial, you're gonna be the one that I don't give a fuck about here, and I should have gave a fuck about her. Oh my god. But you gotta swing. You do no, wait, you don't do a lot of damage. Oh my god. She's just gonna die instantly to thunder if I. Oh, please don't use thought. Okay. Don't, yeah. Yeah, perfect lethal. I don't know. Okay, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It actually matters so much. It matters so much. It matters more than anything has ever mattered. We gotta just. Oh wait, good block that you couldn't block because you didn't have a shield on anymore. Oh, I'm so fucked. I'm so fucked. We're going back to the goddamn wind shrine. Why can't I crit or have the proc? Why is it doing so little? Why does that hurt so bad? Oh my god. Why can't I get X attack? Why do I have to do this? Why is this a random encounter? This is harder than like every boss in the game. Oh my god, there you go. I'm fucked. I don't have the juice anymore. I don't have the meat. I don't have the fucking art. Oh my god. It's over. It's over. I give up. Oh. Twice, same fucking place. Twice! You may think a few things like, why not use every single elixir I have just to win, or why not use the row to put Lena in the back? Those questions pale in comparison to, why don't I use the Doom Axe? They work against them. I'm such a fuckhead. I should have read about that after losing once. Also, if you are wondering why I don't use row very much, just to clarify, sometimes when enemies have a choice between hitting physically or using full party hitting magic, I'm gonna just try to get through their HP pool as fast as possible. It's kind of a big DPS loss to move someone to the front or back row, so I tend to not want to do that. that. Still, yeah, still, we're dead again. Thought that was the one, huh? Thought that was the run that was making it. Maybe we ought to look to good old Fucks instead. That's a powerful name. That's the kind of guy that gets things done. If this one doesn't beat the game, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm sick of 5. I hate 5. It has no save button. Probably been about an hour since you've seen some of these earlier parts, so let's have a quick, very brief check-in with how our strategies have evolved before we're back in Xdef's castle. Experience values are so terrible early on that every run I just farm for a long time in the Wind Shrine. It's totally safe, you get free elixirs, it's barely worse than the next 2 hours of gameplay. Doing this always gets me a nice head start on elixirs, and the levels I get are usually satisfactory for a large chunk of World 1, until at least the Tower of Walse, where I farm to get fire rods. My test of success is being able to mindlessly kill Magissa and Forza by holding attack at max speed. If I don't clear that hurdle, I've already failed, and I'm happy to restart and go back to the Wind Shrine as, I don't know, peepees or something like that. With the katana and heal staff, I just farm for those fire rods for what feels like an eternity, hating every moment. When I got about 30, I usually take on Garula. Legit, it's the same thought process as Forza and Magissa, just hold the attack button and think about dinner. A little chicken, a little steak, ooh, some Doritos as well, yeah, nachos, oh, a popsicle, huh? The walk to the fire-powered ship, Karnak, and the ancient library have become routine. Don't get blinded, use heal staff as much as possible, ice rod, break liquid flame, only grab a few chests in the exploding castle, don't step on the Dorn Chimera tiles, okay. More farming outside of the library for better XP rates, the acquisition of softs or even antidotes if I want to go fight the desert bears, and basically just enough durability to make Ifrit routine and easy. Rod break Byblos, get the boat back, instantly go and sink it, have a brain against Sandworm, get the airship, rod break Kraykall after believing you might be able to win the fight normally, go grab the Blitz Whip and get a major long, extremely long farm going on, grabbing Doom Axes and then doing whatever sounds the least unfun until I'm insanely overleveled. And I'm not mincing words, I told you, this run is going to be it. I get to, I think, level 60. I couldn't begin to discuss this with anybody. It is so fucking terrible how long that takes. You have no idea unless you've played the game. It actually gives me a panic attack looking at how long this footage is. Fortunately, in the time I sat here fighting thousands of things in a circle, I got to watch basically every challenge run ever conducted for the game, so I know a lot more about the parts we haven't gotten to yet. I don't plan to fail. It's gonna work. If you think this is overkill, you might think, wait, why is he doing this already? Let's watch something. Maybe it'll make it all seem more reasonable. Okay, slow that. Wait, what? Okay, Airblade can do a lot of damage, but Dancing Dagger might be better. Try. Good work. Nice miss. Okay, that's fine for her. There we go. Okay. Ow. I should take off that. That's not the best. Okay, that sucks, but I don't have to heal it at least. Okay, it's horrible. Hey, there it is. Alright, more, okay, well that's stupidly shit. I'm fucked. I am so fucked on everything. Oh, alright, fine. I shouldn't heal Lena. I need to use the Gale for it. Nice block. Oh, Bart with the badass fuck, and one with the shit ass fuck, okay. Oh my god, no. Gravity 100. What does that do? Oh my god. There goes the elixirs. That's good. Oh my god, dude. Alright. You have to attack. Yeah, you have like the best damage output. Okay, that's so bad. Okay, we need to start using... I need to just have like over 700. Over 700 should be enough to win this. Okay, no. Okay. Oh, she needs to attack. She's like my best damage output. Alright, we're tapped the fuck out. We're tapped the fuck out. We're... Oh, Jesus Christ. Yep, it was just to be expected. I need 1,000 elixirs. Yep. This cocksucking challenge, dude. Yeah, it wasn't fucks right after the last one. We had rears in there. As you can see, a pitfall of the end of World 2 is running out of gas, and I decided between this run and another one that I lost the footage for because my computer shit itself and screwed me, which is where actually the teaser audio came from our Final Fantasy VI challenge at the very end. Fun fact. But that was also an Xdef, and he's just a heavy-hitting, douchey, big dumb helmet, big, large dick-ass cock, ball-sucking, ass-eating, stupid loser. So yeah, besides the Yellow Dragons, we had 2 other huge, sprawling runs to that point, but which are felled by Xdef. I'm I'm making it to World 3. That's the whole point. I'm making it to World 3. And I'm not letting some pitfall in between the Soul Cannon and X-Death get in my way. I don't plan to let X-Death get in my way again either. The perks to our name right now is a full stack of 99 elixirs, which is just a gigantic number that will trivialize mostly everything except for heinously bad luck, and also the resolve to never fail again. Being slightly optimistic on that one. With our extremely advanced levels, Gilgamesh and his bridge are a joke. Battle on the bitch bridge more like, and now every single thing that was tedious, such as North Mountain, is a walk in the mountain. Still a little bumpy, you know, it's a little tall, but I gotta heal up on Drippy as much as I can. Little bitch, you aren't getting me again. Funnily enough, the first thing to present a terrible challenge to me again is Atomos, who is a little immune to me having tons of HP. In fact, did I just say inspact? In fact, he uses Demi, which basically reduces me to reasonable health levels anyway, so I can't really cheese him. Plus, I completely failed because I heard something that deceived me, unless I misheard it because I was listening to those things in my level grinding stupor moments. You're supposedly able to put Atomos to sleep. I don't know if there's something special about how you're supposed to do that, but the Dream Harp, an item I farmed for in this tower, has a proc chance to put the target to sleep. Now, what I think is happening is that harps don't work on bosses because with the exception of the legendary harp, they deal proportional damage, like 1/16 the target's total health per hit. For big bosses, I get that's kinda good, but the fact that it deals 1/16 of the damage to a regular enemy is awful. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but unless something takes 17 hits to kill with regular weapons, it will always be better to use them instead of a harp. And I can't picture a random encounter taking 17 hits with a sword to kill. Maybe I'm missing something. That's very likely. I know that in this case the harp would also put the target to sleep, but I mean, that's still bad. Why do you want to put things to... Well, actually, why wasn't I using this thing more? Uh-oh. Well, it's still hard, but sucks ass. And I think that's why, despite this boss's weakness to being slept, I just waste a ton of turns I could have otherwise been hitting him. And for that reason, the fight goes really badly and I barely win. Yeah, at level 61. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week with advice how to blow with my teaching course P9 and I, sequel book to PU and you. Ty, you want to talk about the game again? Well, it's routine. We just go through the Metamorph Cave. Remember that? That's simple enough at our strength. And then the Forest of Moor, following some more item farming, which is simple enough as well. The crystal bosses. I decided to have a party member physically attack them with the heal staff to avoid their health getting too low and killing me, and that works great. As soon as we get the Doomax procs, we win. X-Death squats on Galoof's head again, and Kryl is back. And X-Death Castle again, which is more thankfully sensible at level 61. Running through, there's a lot less opportunity to just die really quickly, but I still gotta watch with the damaged floor tiles. By the time I get up to X-Death, I only have gone through about 25 elixirs total, so I still have over 70. It's an incredibly, usually wildly unnecessary number, but you know, still, here we are. And kinda unfortunately, the boss is somewhat underwhelming when you're prepared this much. I mean, he's still a pain with tons of health and annoying effects, including casting Doom on people, but I mean, you just kinda hit him. I'll play a little bit of the real footage in the background because we gotta get on, but as you can see, with the best arsenal available, he will die. Just elixir when someone gets trashed and win the game. Just keep doing it. Win World 2. It's like winning the whole game for me. And just how much I meant it earlier when I said fucks is it. It's fucks or nothing. That's why we're gonna jump into it. We're speeding up. There's only so much more Final Fantasy V one human can endure. After X-Death loses, he giggles like a little girl and combines the first and second world together. Okay, that's annoying. There's gonna be a lot of people in Walse now. We wake up and decide this is not a world-ending situation and have a little party at Castle Tycoon, a little party. Kryl and Fucks think this sucks and go find Boko, who has literally been impregnating his wife since we left. It's big plot development, this bird fuck. So Boko lets us access a new spot on the overworld as he can run over rivers, and while we do this, we fall into the Antlion boss fight. It's easy enough for 2 people to kill this thing. We won't mention it again. Ferris arrives to save us from the hole, and the 3 of us go chat with Guido, and he tells us we need more strength to do anything, little mouthy turtle fuck. The thing is, I do agree. We witness X-Death, that guy we didn't deal with, start sucking up major location with the power of black balls, the void, his specialty, which all kinda sucks, and then Lena presumably dies, which kinda sucks. So we're depressed, pissed, and notice the ancient library still here with that delicious pot. Oh, put the soup in my mouth. At the library, it's revealed that we can get to the legendary weapons if we find tablets around the world and bring them to that castle with the disgusting, contemptible shield dragon. It's not the best news, because I don't know if I can kill that enemy, but sure, we have no choice. We have to grab one of the tablets to progress to the end of the game. That's in the pyramid, and after it, I can literally book it over to the endgame and win, and be the only human to ever do this horrible, stupid challenge, but that's not going to be the case anyway. I need to amass almost every conceivable upgrade in this world to win. Speaking of, there's something good to say. We can go grab one of the strongest weapons in the game now, the Brave Blade. It's technically probably the strongest one in the game, but I don't know if it's actually the best one. Anyway, it's still really good. The choice you can make right now is at the town of Moore if you want a weapon called the Brave Blade or the Chicken Knife. The blade retains the best attack power in the game if you never ran from combat. It scales down by 1 each time you do. Finally, this run is paying off. Conversely, the Chicken Knife grows in power, scaling with each time you ran. It's a well-discussed fact that the Chicken Knife is far superior, as there's a lot of benefit from running anyway, and while there's a minor drawback to the knife, being that 25% of the time when attacking you'll flee instead, that's fine for normal encounters and normal playthroughs. And there's a lot of ways to make the Chicken Knife absolutely broken if you use the job system. Plus, most jobs can equip knives and only 2 can equip the Brave Blade. Fortunately, Freelancer is obviously one of them. With the blade in hand, our damage shoots up to insane levels, kind of. I hate this game. Deal like nearly 2,000 to swing, which is great, don't get me wrong, that's very good. We make our way to the pyramid, a place I hate. Reason being, it's a large dungeon with so many bad enemies and lots of random stats effects being tossed around, and if I want to leave and heal up, it's back at the ancient library, which is not a convenient walk. It's really bad. I'll take the time to briefly mention this boss encounter. The Gargoyles. They guard each of the 4 tablet dungeons and function as gatekeepers. Their gimmick is that you have to defeat them relatively at the same time. If you don't, they resurrect themselves with full health. It's annoying, but doable. You butter one up and then eat the other, like a potato or a bagel or some toast, and then they're toast. Easy. It kinda wasn't. Doesn't matter. Dungeon's open. Let's just give you a death clip. It didn't even record audio. There's fucking Omega Robot reskins in here, and yeah, watch this. Ooh, look at that. See you later, cocks. No joke. I mean, imagine that. I just showed you basically a week of gameplay and it got almost complete run of Final Fantasy V. Gone. Just because these overall robots are assholes. And there's like 8 of them. In Fux's run, I learned that lesson obviously and made strides to not be totally owned by them. Really, the pyramid has a lot of traps. Some really bad encounters, these robots, and no formal boss. So if you just use a map to move efficiently, it's not the worst. And with the tablet now in hand, Bahamut appears and says, "Come find me on North Mountain," and no, I won't. The boat floats over and then the literal most tragic, awful thing ever happens. That fucking X-Death. He just ate my pot. He just killed my pot. I don't care about anything else. Who was in there? Mid? Sid? Did? Bid? Lid? Skid? Rid? Kid? And everyone's favorite Shid and the turtle, Guido. But we now have a boss fight before we get Lena back, and then we can go fly over to a different free healing spot. Melusine, a naked woman riding a huge snake, appears. This is a visual metaphor for me and my life. I often have naked women trying to kill me. It's a gimmick battle and is not too interesting. She basically changes her weakness and absorption ability frequently, but the Brave Blade hits her hard regardless, and if she becomes weak to fire or ice, the Ice Brand or the Flame Sword becomes very big hits. We win, Lena returns to us, and the party is whole once again. It's time for the Shield Dragon. Inside the sealed castle are the 12 legendary weapons. Each tablet you collect gives you access to 3 of them, so right now we can get 3 endgame never to replace items, but we need to not get clipped by the Shield Dragon. Before going there, I went to grab the Thief Dagger in the Mirage Village, a place with a pot, but that's not the special part. I mean, it's great, I don't mind. The Thief Gagger, ooh, that's a typo. Why? I'll keep that. The Thief Gagger gives elite guck. Okay, sorry. The dagger actually allows me to steal from enemies with a chance to mug when attacking, which is actually an insane development. So many more options have opened. But the moment of truth, walking through the 2 rooms before the sealed weapons. I figure I could farm an easy encounter outside, 1 step from the castle entrance, and then it'll give me the best chance of not running into the Shield Dragon before I get my weapons. Once I have them, I favor my chances a lot more. Before the rooms, we gotta run past the pot is here, retrieved by this NPC who is my hero. You're invited to my birthday party. And then the run, a little clench, no problem. Here we go. And yes, that's it. That's literally it. We made it. Time for the biggest upgrades in the game. I'll simplify the experience of choosing from among these 12 weapons. The Masamune is definitively the greatest weapon in the game, as it casts haste on a party member if it's used on them. Haste stunningly increases the number of actions I'll be taking in combat. Plus, it's a katana, so it can crit, and it has very high base attack power as well. Then there's a tier of weapons that are strictly just strong. The Excalibur does great damage and is severely strong against enemies that are weak to Holy, but also it unfortunately heals enemies who absorb Holy, so you know. The Holy Lance is the same thing, but just weaker than the Excalibur. Sasuke's Katana allows you to block attacks akin to the Guardian Dagger from long ago. The Assassin's Dagger is basically the strongest form of the Doom Axe, dealing decent damage and having a chance to instant kill targets. The Flame Butte is a whip that is fairly decent in terms of damage and casts Furaga when attacking sometimes. Normally that's a pretty random and bad effect, but for me that represents such a huge increase to my ability to hit enemies with a type of damage, so I like it. The Earth Bell is dog shit out of my ass. The Apollo Harp forgoes the damage formula that the other harps have and deals a ton of damage to dragons, but otherwise it's pretty pointless. The Magus Rod dramatically increases the power of spellcasting, so it's horrible for me, and the Sage's Staff instead casts Revive on a target when used as an item, which is unbelievably good for me. Yoichi's bow is a bow that does bow, shoot bow. The Rune Axe does incredible damage and uses mana to crit when swinging, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to take the Apollo Harp, the Masamune, and the Rune Axe. Reason for the Harp: it gives me a guaranteed way to blast through the Shield Dragon and get in and out of here. The Masamune is straight up just one of the best items in the game, I'm not passing it up, and the Rune Axe is another good failsafe for getting through highly defensive targets. With this, we maximize our potential to move through the next points in the game. We definitely want the Sage's Staff, and we super want the Excalibur and any other high damage weapon, but right now we have to prioritize ways to defeat the dragon. And sure enough, on our way out, we find him, and at least we're ready this time. The Shield Dragon runs away after you deal 10,000 damage. Last time we couldn't hit above 0. Now the Brave Blade hits about 800. Unfortunately, when you attack, he counters physically with a very heavy attack that also inflicts confusion. So I find the strategy to be hit it with only your heaviest attacks and then have either unarmed or heal staff wielding party members ready to hit the confused target. Apollo's Harp fortunately does what I expect and deals over 3,000 damage each time to the dragon. I mean, that's like holy shit damage. It's actually one of the highest amounts of damage I'll deal in the game. A little back and forth pretty safely and the dragon dies and the pot is back in my hands. Now, as I said before, there's nothing restricting us from beating the game. That's a very much in quotes beat the game right there. I do feel like I might as well go look at how the rift feels because maybe it's not such a tall order. Maybe we can actually end this challenge. Nope, oh fuck, nope, we can't. The rift is probably the longest dungeon in the game and has the highest density of monsters that I don't and oftentimes can't deal with. Farfareros! So each segment of the rift represents a previous tile set from past dungeons of the game. You start in a desert with seemingly the worst shit in the world, we'll talk about that later, and end up in Clock Village with a few really odd enemies, including those that use roulette, which randomly selects any unit in the battle and instantly kills it. So that's some fun RNG to deal with at the end of the game. Then you get to the Phantom Village again with an immense saving grace. The pot is still here. It's like a mirage Phantom Village, but the pot's real. It's a godsend. And then it's the forest, and beyond that, I have no fucking idea yet, because there's no way I'm going past the forest right now. Well, run it down. Immense defense, annoying groups of status inflictors, and starting here, there's a lot of boss fights coming up, as Xdeath has his strange gang of friends all ready to kill us. Believe me, some of them are not to be trifled with. So back we go to get another tablet at least and make better plans to actually go win the game. The only way to open up anything else is to partake in the Island Shrine, and it's a moderate place. Moderate in the sense that there's nothing special about it really at all. It's not like there's an enemy in here that is randomly the strongest thing in the game. It definitely hasn't killed me before. Take a gander. The Tote Avis. The Tote Avis. The Tote Avis has a lot of health. The Tote Avis has... Alright, wait. Alright, well, this is a stupid fucking enemy. What the fuck is happening right now? What? Is this a boss? What? Do I need to turn the music on? What's going on? Oh my god, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Oh, stop freaking out. Just pop an elixir on him. Oh my god, the Tote Avis. What the fuck was that? I'm gonna leave now. What the fuck is a Tote Avis again? What is a Tote Avis? What is this? Oh my god, this is awful. I gotta heal before the Breathling comes out. I gotta just keep popping elixirs. What is going on with the Tote fucking Avis, dude? Okay, I'm glad I didn't just fuck that up. Oh my god, no! This is so bad. This is so bad. What is going on with the Tote fucking Avis? What does that mean? I gotta heal or I'm gonna just die. This is so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my god. What is this fucking random encounter war mech? I'm gonna just have to leave the whole dungeon. Oh my god, please. I don't want to resurrect them because they'll just die to fucking Breathwing. What is this enemy? Oh my god. Can't hit him. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is it... I'm gonna die. It's over. Oh my god. It's fucking over. The game just ended because of 2 Tote Avises in a row. Who made this? Who made the Tote Avis? And why is it harder than X-Death? Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a good thing to learn. It's good knowing that there's something really randomly hard when you're in a dungeon. It means that if I see it, I'm using the Masamune as much as I can. It's normally not worth the effort of putting haste all over our bodies, but enemies like the Tote Asshole have too much HP to ignore. Unfortunately, in addition to these bird-brained bitches, there's a lot of intimidating encounters, honestly. Confusion, instant death, win slash, you'll see it all here. Except for the boss, who has a stupid gimmick and ends up being very easy. He's named Stalker here, which is wrong. It's Stoker in the PlayStation version, and it's Wendigo in the real language being used version. The main concept is that there's only one of the 4 targets in the fight that's real, the others being dummy targets that take no damage if you hit them. Once you actually hit the boss, the real one changes locations again, so it's always a guessing game. Each of the 4 do various things regardless of being the one that's taking damage or not, and take independent turns, but it's surprisingly easy to beat this guy. With a pretty limited amount of health and effects that aren't that bad and are also not that rapid, you can spend plenty of time pointlessly hitting clones to find the real one. After winning, we get another tablet and have to worry about leaving with Tote Avises around here. Fortunately, unknown to me when I died last to 2 Tote Avises in a row, the enemy is fairly rare. And when we leave, we get to run back into the sealed castle and grab ourselves some more legendary weapons. Me already opting for the Excalibur for a straight up huge damage buff, Sasuke's Katana for more defenses if I need it, and the Sage's Staff for infinite resurrects. However, I have some more bad news. I didn't know when to share it because there's something I didn't know about the sealed castle before playing this game. You want to see something fun? Well, this is Pounds, a little fella. It was massively leveled following the great death that was Dumps, and I figured there would be a file to reach the end. I thought Pounds would reach the end, and it ended up dying before I turned in the first tablet. Yeah, no kidding. It's because there's a second enemy in the sealed castle apparently named X-Def Soul, and he is something else. Here, just watch the footage, you'll see.
Oh, wait. Fucking who? Who the fuck is X-Def Soul? He's a little bitch. Hey, he's not a little bitch. Alright. There we go. Alright. Well, he doesn't seem so bad. Maybe this is the luck I needed. Oh, I'm gonna run out of fucking... okay. Jesus Christ, X-Def Soul. Alright, this is... oh no, alright, it's not going well. Oh my fucking god. Who is X-Def Soul? Get fucking Cryle back up. Oh my... oh my fucking god!
So yeah, unlike the Shield Dragon, you can hurt this guy fairly easily, but unfortunately he uses 2 different forms of instant killing attacks. Basically, this is such a bad RNG check that if I bump into him instead of the Shield Dragon, the game easily could just end. The good news is he's incredibly weak to Holy, so the Excalibur will shred him if I get it. So each run, the RNG required for the legendary weapons is getting the Apollo's Harp for the Shield Dragon or intelligently choosing to get the Excalibur for X-Def Soul. Or you could get both the first trip to minimize the risk completely. That would be the right option. I mean, cool, good to know. Anyway, back to fucks. With the first slew of legendary weapons in hand, X-Def Soul can die pretty fast. All that was just a little butt-sucking experience is all, and now we've got to talk. We're in the endgame, and I think there's a few things that are wildly impractical to do, but they're necessary for the final bosses of the run. The Fork Tower has now opened, and this place I figure is literally impossible to complete for us. It's without a doubt the stupidest location to ever step foot inside. It's not designed for anyone with my rule set, and here's why. There's 2 separate towers that have to be scaled simultaneously, one requiring only the use of magic, the other requiring the use of melee. Any deviation from that, and the enemies counterattack you for pretty much like 9,999 damage. Or just a shit ton otherwise, or instantly kill you. It's too much to live. You can't do it. The rule is play by the rules. And it's time for my Joker moment. I'm not using magic in the magic tower at all. Which, yeah, will result in me being killed instantly in the game ending. The thing is, there's a lot of good reasons to try and scale the Fork Tower. Primarily, if I don't, there's nothing really to get left in the world. Completing this place gives you access to the 3rd and 4th tablet dungeon, and there's a lot of good reasons for me to want to go to History Falls. That's the 3rd tablet dungeon. Additionally, there's 2 incredibly good items in the Fork Tower, the Wonder Rod and the Defender. The Defender is simply another weapon like the Masamune that when used in combat casts Protect on a party member. Also, it doubles as another block chance like the Sasuke's Katana. Literally, it's just amazing. The Wonder Rod, on the other hand, is one of the most broken items in the game for me. For most players, it simply has the least simple mechanic ever made, where it progressively casts spells from the pool of white and black magic down like a list, meaning that it gives access to everything you could normally learn and cast. It's amazing, but honestly a bit impractical in most applications. You don't get to select what you want, but instead predictably go down that list, and once you reach the list's end, you reset back to the beginning and go again. So if you really want Reflect, Protect, Shell, whatever, you can do that, but you can't do it a lot. The real power of the Wonder Rod is when you use it in combat. It casts Return, which restarts the battle, giving you all the HP and status you had possessed when you entered combat. It's a fucking save button, kind of. Obviously, not really, but you know, kind of. If I'm stuck in a time loop of getting my ass clapped, it's not going to change the outcome, but I theoretically get infinite tries to do anything. So if I want to resurrect party members and heal up, I can reload over and over until the perfect outcome occurs. I think this alone is worth risking the file for. You probably still think it's just a pipe dream though. How can I walk through an entire dungeon without attacking once? But here's why it's a laying pipe dream, right on Omniscient's old ass head. That's the boss of the magic tower, just FYI. If the issue is getting up the entire magic side of the tower without instantly being killed by counterattacks, I need a way to deal with combat immediately. I tested a few things and I came to a conclusion. It's possible. You can definitely get up there with a decent amount of luck. First, we have to go grab an item of immeasurable importance, the magic lamp. It's in a waterfall somewhere, don't ask, doesn't matter, nothing is guarding it. This is an item that when used in combat descends down a list of the summon magic in the game, starting at Bahamut and ending at some dickhead, I don't care who it is. The point is, it starts at Bahamut. I went and checked and it's an egg. He's an egg. Unfortunately, despite being summon magic, the item still counts as being a non-magical source of damage, so if you use the lamp and you don't kill everything, you're gonna die. But fortunately, it's likely that you can kill a small number of the encounters in the magic tower in one shot. As long as they all die, there won't be any counterattacks. After you use Bahamut, you get Leviathan, who also packs quite a wallop. So unless the enemies can survive a massive amount of full AoE damage, we will get to the top. Bad news on this front.
Oh my god, dude. God, wow. Okay, it's not I gotta just see if he purges us. Oh no, come on. You see, I don't have a map. Oh my god, alright. No, I don't. Ah. Come on, actually work. Oh, you fucking idiot. Use signs again, please. Oh, great. Oh, no! Oh my god, slow it down, thank you. No, my fucking god, no, please. I'm butchering this. I can't. We're both small. Oh my god, why did I punch? Why did I fucking punch? Thank you, okay, don't do it again. Alright, put the shield. Oh my god, dude, that was so bad. At least it doesn't count as an actual death. Oh fucking gosh. Oh, what? What happened? That always kills them. They didn't die? What the fuck? I looked away. That was... Oh my god. But I don't get it. Why? Why the fuck didn't that work? What happened? Oh my god. No, I didn't even get off the first fucking screen. That should work. That always worked. It's because of Shell. It's because of Shell. I just went back and watched the footage. It's because of Shell. I didn't even think about that.
That was my first attempt this far in the game, and it was a learning lesson. Going into that run, I knew a few things. First, there is a decent chance of getting to the top without encountering anything, surprisingly so. I borrowed a save file from online just to see, and I got there numerous times. So that's quite nice. Secondly, there are encounters that a full-powered Bahamut or Leviathan can kill in one shot. As long as we're lucky to get only those encounters, we will make it. Then I don't want to really spoil anything, but this wasn't the next run, but watch this little footage. I learned something good, have fun, just imagine how despairing this run has been.
Okay, should be easy.
slow it down, not 2 extra steps. Alright. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Why don't you have a shield on? Oh, God. Oh, my God, dude. I didn't know these could be on this floor. I thought it was just... No, why didn't I look into this, and why didn't... Yep. Fuck! I didn't think they could be that low. He died anyway. Wait, it doesn't even work. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if I can make it consistent. Oh my God. All this. Imagine how much I love looking at this. It's here that I learned you can just use the 3rd summon, Odin, to guarantee a complete way of killing every enemy in any encounter. So as long as we're prepped there, we get a free buffer of 1 encounter. That was enough to make it consistent. Fucking Bahamut, don't need him, just use Odin. The boss, Omniscient, is going to be the real problem. If you physically attack him, he counters immediately with using Return. So the point is you can't kill him with melee, except there's a funny little hiccup that I'm surprised works. If you got lucky and found a power staff, which was a drop from warlocks back in Exdeath Castle, i.e. not around anymore, you can hit a target with it to inflict berserk. Funnily enough, a lot of the time I did have this item by coincidence. Once I knew I needed it, I deliberately farmed it. Omniscient is susceptible to the berserk status, and therefore he can't cast Return, and you can kill him with melee. The bad news is he hits incredibly hard if you do that, but with how the game works, there's a beautiful little coincidence. After you finish the magic tower, you immediately have to go scale the melee tower and beat that boss first, which, by the way, all this is really simple. I send 2 people in, they beat up all the enemies, and they beat up the boss Minotauros, and that whole segment is easy. The real treat is that we get to open the chest with the defender before the Omniscient boss fight, meaning we get to have Protect on our Omniscient battlers. Plus, Omniscient is also weak to age, which dramatically reduces his girth and his combat stats, making the fight that much more tolerable. So, park in the back row, apply Protect, apply Berserk, and then use the Ancient Sword for age, and then that's about it. That's the strategy. It's still hard. It requires some elixir usage, but that's it. It's that simple. We win. Fux is going all the way. The Fork Tower gave us Flare and Holy, shit we don't want, and opens up a hole in the ocean where Mid and Sid are getting ass blasted by some machinery. Okay. They agree to build us a submarine from our airship, and at this point I'm pretty sure these 2 science chimps could do anything. Get some bananas for them to suck on. Now able to go under the ocean, all I'm looking for is Istory Falls, and honestly it's not for much beyond the fact that there's a free Aegis shield in there. Also, no required boss for another tablet, which is fine. That's okay. I'll take some more stuff. I'm not in desperate need for the other 6 legendary weapons, but more options the better. We defeat a bunch of enemies in a row here and think we're happy-go-lucky, but I actually am not happy-go-lucky. It's a lie. There's 2 reasons for that. 1, Tonberries. This enemy is notoriously hard in every game it appears in, and in Final Fantasy V, it's the first time we ever see this turtle-shaped dick. He walks slowly up and then stabs your party for 1 billion damage and then resets positions. He has absolutely fiendish amounts of HP at 39,393. This could easily end the game. Fortunately, it's fairly rare to find him, and when I do, my level is so high that with a decent amount of luck, we can win. Plus, if things go bad, I can wonder rot. Speaking of wonder rotting, I wasn't experienced with that idea right away. Like the first time I got here. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. What is, oh my fucking god, dude. Oh my god, please, no. Oh my god. Why? Why? Fucking why? Hit him! Oh my god! I'll come ya. This one is embarrassing now. I can't believe my brain never said use the Wonder Rod, but also that my luck was so atrociously bad. I don't want to belabor this. Don't think about it. It's a disgusting name. He did not deserve to win. It's all about Fux, who, yeah, by the way, gets through the dungeon decently well. Had to pop some elixirs. Honestly, a dangerous amount of elixirs, but it's fine. We got plenty still. We get the tablet, the shield, some other really good endgame weapons, and when one of Xdef's goons comes to battle, Leviathan, Bahamut's goon, eats him and looks at us and says, "What you gonna do, bitch?" We just leave. Yeah, thanks Leviathan, see you later. Also, this is one of the only dungeons that warps you to the beginning of it when you're done, thank God. Now, out and about, we go and grab 3 more legendary weapons, only leaving the Magus Rod, the Earth Bell, and the Yoichi Bow, and the game is pretty much over. This is kind of it. It's time for the final dungeon. I alluded to it earlier, but the Rift is probably the hardest place in the game, even factoring in that checkpoint pot we get access to. There is no shortage of horrendous enemy groups, and in a lot of ways, they just keep getting worse the further you go in. Take the Rift Desert, a place that only has a few enemies, but they're all doozies. As evidenced by a friend I'd like to call Holes, not the book or the film of Shia LaBeouf, but rather this guy. Take a look at him destroy a Tote Avis, an absolutely style on the Fork Tower, destroying all enemies in his path. A being of pure commitment, the one I figured would be making it. I just gotta leave again. Like, wow, this fucking sucks. I just have to leave again. Oh no. Okay, just get through him. Yeah, that's fine. Just gotta get out of here again. Really sucks ass. Okay. What is 1 step? Literally 1 step. No fucking way, dude. Okay, at least you got that on. Dude, no, this is so... Use it. Oh my god. Dude, I walked 1 step. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. It's a good block. Oh my god, the blocks. Good block. Okay. 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 Can I even get to see any of the bosses in here, please? Like, I want to just look at them. Problem is this enemy that inflicts Maelstrom, which leaves me at 5 health total, and then getting hit with Quake, and since things with Quake exist, how in the hell am I supposed to revive them and heal in time? It's basically impossible. If we get bad luck, we just die. Of course, there is the Wonder Rod, but in the instance you just saw, there's sometimes no way to fix a bad situation. It's just locked in. But we're back to Fox. Fox is our boy. Yes, sir. It's great. He's never gonna die. The amount of times I get blockaded in the first part of the dungeon is wild. I go back and forth again and again, running to the airship at the first hint of death. We do get to the second section where, again, there's so much RNG that ends hundreds of hours of progress. I have a dedicated hard drive with footage that's only from 5. It's almost full. I'm not doing this again. Never again. I might do it again. The clock tower section is short, and only really the roulette enemy bugs me, so you know, if it kills someone, that immediately ends the run. By the way, in here I find a rune bell, which is pretty rare. It's pretty good too. I just wanted to show you, that's cool. It's a bell, so it's still not that good for me, but I thought I'd share. Also, it's this file that's even more blessed, because I stole a second defender from that Maelstrom inflicting enemy in the desert section. That was really lucky, actually, so I can double the speed of my protect application. Aren't I cool? Don't you want to be my friend? We can go to the local mall, we can go to the local supermarket, we can go to the local skate tip park, we can go play Final Fantasy VII with only. Then it's the pot again, take a quick bath, and progress into the forest. The forest houses the first boss, Califisteri, who is normally not seen as the worst thing in the world. She's kind of the worst in my run. The enemies before her don't help, inflicting a lot of status ailments and generally making life miserable, outright killing party members, you know, great stuff like that. Since we're really close to the pot, I'm using it for emotional support as I go back and forth. Califisteri herself casts a lot of support skills, upping defense and generally just healing. Plus, countering every physical hit with Drain is excessively annoying, requiring me to get lucky with blocks to make good progress. Any bad luck means she heals most of the damage I deal, and it damages me at the same time. It's tedious and a bit sketch, but we win. The only question at the moment is everything. I don't know what to expect moving forward, and I'm hurt, so I should probably brave it back to the pot before I move on. We do, we does, and we go. Now, the fourth section of the Rift is perhaps the hardest of them all. The cave section has 100% bad enemy encounters for several weird reasons. Take the Accolone. It's got high health, deals a lot of damage, and maybe has the greatest evasion stat in the game. Not kidding, it's so high that I can barely hit these things. It's times like this where the whip and its much stronger version, the Beast Killer, found in the Island Shrine, can come in clutch. Since they can be paralyzed, inflicting that on them means they can no longer dodge, so problem solved. Unfortunately, the Great Dragon is also here, and while it's not evasive, it deals pretty insane party damage with Quake and Flame, and better yet, they counterattack physical physical hits as well. Good news is the whip also stuns them, and that's the ticket to surviving. If I don't get the lucky stun, I'm gonna use the Wonder Rod. It's great functionality. Uniquely, hilariously horrible, additional adjective, expletive-laden thing about the Wonder Rod, though, is that if I equip it to someone who coincidentally dies before getting to use it, it basically opens up the concept of death once again. Imagine a scenario where I'm getting absolutely hammered and totally fucked up. It's unlikely for me to Phoenix down the person who died with the Wonder Rod, get to their turn, keep them alive, and then use the Wonder Rod to reset the fight. I can only say things suck so many different ways. This video is getting heinously long, I apologize. Keep at it. The real sticking point, though, about the caves is actually a bit of platforming, one could call it. It's this room, probably very familiar to players of the game. It's got the first super boss of the franchise, Omega, in it. Genuinely, should have just called it Omega, asshole. This enemy is undefeatable, purely. If I initiate combat, I will die. The game will end, it won't continue. Alright, I think you can just walk around him. Just stay over there. Oh my god. I hate walking around in here. This sucks. Oh my god, this is so fucking nerve-wracking. If I touch him, it's just the end of the game. It's dead. Alright, I'm just gonna go at it. Jesus Christ! No! What am I doing? You fucking can't be serious. Oh my fuck. No way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. What is that? What are you talking about? He wasn't even on the same layer as me. Oh my god. I still cannot believe that. Look, it's diagonal. It's not even level. I don't get the hitbox on this. It took me so much effort to get this far. Any amount of distance in this run took me a lot of effort, but this one stung so bad. It wasn't anything other than blind stupidity. I realized that. I tried to play when I was the least tired, when I had the most energy, the most focus, but so often I treated these runs as genuinely as I could. I didn't want to reload that save, despite the fact that this should have nothing to do with the challenge and probably no one would blame me. But I died. That's the truth of it. And yet, Fox marches on. After Omega, you reach the next boss, a panda, who's not a panda. He's Biblos in a trench coat, and basically the same shit, but with way more HP than before. And yeah, since the last Biblos encounter was fellable with 2 fire rods, and whose counterattacks were legit terrible to endure then, and one should never hit the boss 20 times physically to win, this fight is similarly really bad. Just becomes an elixir dump because I strictly need to conserve energy moving forward. It's getting too far to retreat back to the pot. It's more of a risk to backpedal than to push forward. We're now in the Sky Castle zone. I don't think this was ever used anywhere else in the game, and fortunately the dodging asshole thing continues to be a problem in here. The ninja encounter is where basically if we don't get the whip to paralyze, we have to try again. They will practically dodge 90% of the time. More worrisome than them is the green dragon wyvern thing, Avis Dragon. It's like the Tote Avis, and actually speaking of the Tote Avis, there's something I gotta show you. It's a fella named Logs. Now Logs had more of a hasty approach to get this far into the game. He wasn't designed to be a tank. He wasn't time wasting, grind time kind of guy. He was like a fly by the seat of your pants file. I say that, I mean like literally all these files represent so many hours of grinding. Just him a little less. I got here pretty quick in comparison to every other file that reached the rift, and I was excited to see the final few bosses before X-Death, I thought. So remember how I said the Wonder Rod is sometimes as useful as Wonder Bread when the user is Wonder Dead? Yeah, it happens. The Wonder Rod is equipped, the user dies, and in fact, I recover once and reset regardless of that hiccup. But the time loop catches up with me eventually. RNG does not go in my favor every time. This time, mind you, the microphone was off, but you'd probably just hear me say, what balls, what the fuck, what, not again. We're back with our main man, the main attraction, the main character. After the floating castle section, there's no boss to clear. We get right back to the regular castle section. All right. First boss here is a guy named Azul Magia who uses blue magic. That's why he's Azul Magia. Blue Magia. Fortunately, we can just beat him to death. Also comically so compared to the other fights so far. Also comically so, I didn't have to fight this boss. He's optional. It gives you a save point. Oops. Well, at least the next boss isn't actually optional. Jura Avis. I think I was wrong. That's also optional. Oops. Also, I don't think it's a boss. Surprisingly, it's kind of a cinch. Just hit it and wander out of here. Finally, the actual real boss, Catastrophe, with such a cool ass name for a fight. I mean, that's awesome. And he's a big ball. That's great. Petrifies Kryl immediately. Ball has come to play ball. The mechanic at play here is the boss spamming Earthquake. He does not do that and he dies. These bosses are getting depressing. You may have also noticed noticed by this point, but I'm an absurdly high level. What this file did in particular was roam around and fight just about everything I could on the world map before coming in the rift. Usually stuff relatively close to the sealed castle pot. It's no exaggeration to say I've been playing this run for easily over 100 hours. The footage I have has lots of pauses and breaks as I probably ate several meals and kept the recording on, for fear that I'd accidentally have my terrible SNES emulator crash. This all doesn't matter. Stop talking about it. Like 4 bosses left in the entire game. Let's do it. Don't fear. Don't despair. Following catastrophe, a woman, very believable, regular human woman is here, is thankful for Fox to having fucked up the boss and kisses him. Little does he know, that was a man in disguise. A big purple dressed man. Pranked. Halicarnassus is an ass of an encounter. 2 reasons. He's actually quite easy. Secondly, we're in the fight for what feels like days because you can rarely steal a 3rd Aegis shield from him. That item is invaluable. X-Death and Neo X-Death are both able to inflict shit that the Aegis shield just ignores. At least the first phase of X-Death does with Whitehole. Maybe nothing from the second phase is blockable like that, but the second phase does 100 things, so I don't know for sure. I'm not checking. I smacked to death. But yeah, Halicarnassus, he's kind of mediocre. He starts the fight toting everyone, which is actually genuinely terrible news. I can't fix that very easily. The good news is that he'll also untoad the party eventually. Bad news is that he uses Holy after a while and literally does 10,000 damage to anyone and instantly kills them when he does that. Good news is that he does that pretty slowly and I can fix it no problem. By constantly restarting the fight with the Wonder Rod, we can ensure that we get the rare steal and then get untoaded, kill the boss, and leave. It's a simple strategy. Takes quite some time, but eventually we're done here. Now, there's 3 bosses left. 4 if you count an optional, very hard encounter named Necrophobe. I can skip him because he just unlocks another save point, and will do so, meaning we have Twintania, X-Death Form 1, and Neo X-Death remaining. Twintania is a chunker, huge fuckface, like beast mode creature. The concept here is that after a while, Twintania gears up the supercharge and busts massively on our faces. 2-hour video, I'm not holding anything back anymore. Kinda like Twintania, whose Giga Flare does insane damage and would ordinarily kill anyone that was hit by it. We are so unbelievably high leveled, we can take it on the chin. Also, it's during that charge period you can inflict instant death on Twintania via the Doom Axe, Assassin's Dagger, whatever. I don't actually do that, instead focusing on pure pumpage as the Excalibur does ridiculous damage per hit. It was a mistake, I won't dress it up, but you know, I don't die, that's the good part. The other thing that sucks is that he counterattacks being hit with Tidal Wave 1 out of 3 times, and that racks up a lot of damage. So much so that we need to be mindful of taking the big burst before Giga Flare comes out. After one of those great big swamping Giga Flares, we end up so close to losing, and with 50,000 HP, the fight's a track. I Wonder Rod to do this over and over again until it's good. But the point is, we succeed, and we're in the final few screens of the game. It's hard to explain the emotion at this point. I had been playing this game for many, many months. I was tired, I was exhausted. I thought, if it doesn't happen now, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to please the audience and say I ever did this. I was worried, it's been so long, I want to share something, and I really don't want to fucking fail right now. It's impossible to show every close call. The video would be 10 hours long, but I remember them with sweaty hands and my heart beating 10,000 times per second, believe me. I have done research, listened to everything I could, studied as much as I could stomach, recognized that a better, more experienced player could make shorter work of things that I had to cut my teeth on. There is no shortage of moments that resulted in near death or all the way backtracking. And now it's just the final boss. The walk through the rift presents a challenge, keeping everyone completely afloat with good HP and no statuses. The enemies don't seem particularly terrible, but I'm trying not to hang around. It is surreal seeing this. Constantly thinking about how many dead files were behind me. This has represented so much time, so much unenjoyable gameplay. And the kicker, the funny thing is, remember the wizards from Final Fantasy 1? The enemy that was poetically yanking my balls over and over again? They're here. They're watching me. They're waiting to complete the stupidest challenge run ever conceived. The final 2D Final Fantasy, with a minor exception we might talk about. This is the ending. Fux is gonna fuck this guy up, I guarantee it. I want to mention this now. I made it a rule. I wouldn't be Wonder Rodding at all during this battle. I am absolutely stupid. Felt that as a final stipulation, to prove we're here, to prove we did it, there will be no do-overs. We win or he does. I'm not gonna scum this now. I hate honor. There's 2 phases, and the first phase actually doesn't present an enormous challenge. Fortunately. Primarily, the main attack that can really do some damage is Whitehole, an instant kill spell that also petrifies the target, meaning they're double dead. That's fucking murderous. But with 3 Aegis shields, we aren't in that much danger from being hit, as they block petrify completely. So basically, the one time it hits me, it's just bad luck that it chose is the one target with no shield equipped. And given that the boss doesn't do a ton of things very quickly, we can massively beat on him until phase 2. Additionally, nicely, there's no reset to the fight, so I get to maintain my application of protect and haste on each party member. Chopping Xdef's large log reveals the true final boss, Neo Xdef, new Xdef, my god. He's sucked into the rift and emerges as a lot of men and women and faces, and more interestingly, 4 pieces, all with over 50,000 HP. For us, this represents an enormous trial, but there's some good news. The piece in the very back is subject to dying immediately to Odin via the magic lamp and will be completely easy to deal with. I would have liked to have said, because I neglected the idea to return to the waterfalls to refill the lamp, since after a certain point in here I never left the rift again and already used Odin. That's actually cataclysmically bad. I weighed the risk of walking through encounters against having that free one-shot here, and I felt, well, it's okay just to man mode it. And that's what this is, the pinnacle of success, the ultimate in power and resolve. Endless droves of things hit me, but I get enormously lucky with another mechanic. I use Ruby Light via the magic lamp and give our whole party reflect, just in time to catch a delta attack. With what I think is incredibly good luck, that delta attack, a move that would have inflicted fuck my ass status effects, instead one-shots a different portion of Neo, and we have made the job that much easier. It can be seen that hitting the boss with all these weapons at this level is good. It's making progress. Attacks like Almagest and Meteor, Grand Cross, they're all terrible. You can see I'm sustaining hits that I cannot sustain for long, taking terrible status effects, and really, it's a battle against time. I cannot keep this up forever. When you fell 3 of the 4 pieces, the remaining piece gets supercharged. It starts going your favorite animal. Could be a bat, could be an ape, anything. It starts going shit here, attacking far too fast to endure for long. It's fine though, holding on to dear life, getting aged, getting doomed, and in real life, the final boss music is blasting my ears. I'm getting butterflies in the stomach. It's going off. I'm feeling my balls run upwards with every Grand Cross. And I'm running out of elixirs, and that's no good with the Maelstrom kicking my characters down to 5 health all the time. And the final piece, the one that's susceptible to Odin, is far away, meaning my attacks are very weak. This game has a back road discrepancy, so if it counts as far away, you deal highly reduced damage with non-bow, non-whip weapons. The Flame Butte has been coming out a little bit, but I've got the Artemis bow. I'm going as hard as I can, desperately. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this thing. I'm giving it everything I can think to, and it's just not dying. Eventually, I'm tapped. I'm scared. I drop the magic lamp again, and I get Demon Eye. For some fucking reason, the thing plays the animation. It seems to be working. I think it instantly kills the boss. If the music wasn't blasting over my voice, I'd play the audio. You'd hear me literally scream, "It works!" But it doesn't work. I'm not even sure that didn't just restore it to full health. Despairing, I just keep up the hits. I just hope that it runs out of gas before I do. And with this health remaining and no elixirs, the universe feels like it's trolling my ass. Look at why? Why? And this is where Fucks meets his end. We didn't beat the game. It's hard to explain that sensation, other than maybe someone kicking my balls 100 times. One failed decision led me to losing the entire game. I had nothing remaining. One single target. That was it. We could have celebrated happily. Little belief that I'd get back to this point again. After all of that, especially with some of the lucky boons this run had, 2 defenders, stealing the Aegis Shield, being alive at all we have to look at is the Wind Shrine. No weapons, no levels, no elixirs, nothing. It's game over. As fucking if I'd let that be it. I've said it a bunch. The failures you've seen, they're not been chronological. It's been all over the place. Experiences from here to there, all in comically, universally amazing service of a run called butts. Full circle, let's fuck this game's butts. The beginning is defined, plotted, and easy. I farm lots of elixirs, I get lots of rods, I tackle bosses sensibly on slow speeds. By now, the runs were all being done with absurd grinding early on. It's hardly any different doing it early or later. The only difference is that everything now is far easier and far more chill. We kill thousands and thousands of enemies before the soul cannon, and that makes that way easier. Archeo Avis, we murder, we kill, we eviscerate. Floating balls, Titan, Chimera Brain, out of my fucking way. We aren't leaving World 1 with less than 99 elixirs. There's no alternative. Gilgamesh has nothing on 4 over level 60 characters because if he did, this would be the worst game of all time. World 2 begins, and just get these fucking shitheads out of my way. Get a power staff, get restorative items, collect the best equipment, back to XDEF 1 again. I'm just sweltering him with sheer muscle mass. It's World 3, brave blade in hand, pyramid with focus and determination like you don't know. The risks of RNG coming again soon. I won't make any mistakes now. Melusine, easy. The shield dragon, skip. The first legendary weapons, mine. Island Shrine, no Toad Avis. Before the Fork Tower, it's time. There's no doubt in my mind anymore. I'm getting to level 89. This represented the longest grind of any single grind in the run by so much. Getting to 89 takes so long that during this week of gameplay, all I did was sat down and played and ran back and forth and just fought random encounters for several hours. Ordinarily in this small desert where the enemies drop high potions, maxing them out just by being here so long. Honestly, just thinking now, if 89 isn't good enough, I'm done. Reasoning for specifically 89 is that you avoid a lot of spells that hit level skill X. Level 2, level 4, level 5, you get clipped by any level 3 skills, but that's what you gotta live with. This minimizes the worry. Also, it's so unbelievably high level that I'm gonna deal a lot of damage. It's now or never. I'm not gonna spoil it. The only spoiler is I'm not doing any more runs. This is the last one. Fork Tower, it's a lock at this point. And then History Falls, and guess what? We bump into a Tonberry. I never showed this beast off, but it's really bad. I'll just play the round for you to be amused at. A lot of things have just become workable through sheer health, and this is one of them. It's close, regardless, which is truly something to behold. Want to also show off X-Death Soul, who is fiendishly weak to surprisingly the Sage's Staff. The damage we can put out against him is crazy. When it's time for the Rift, our levels carry. Walking is far easier, and bosses like Califastarian still me with confidence this time. We are killing everything. Kind of. I mean, in my opinion, if you are actually this level, you should deal 50,000 damage per swing, but fine, 2,000 or 3,000, I'll take it. Then, walking past Omega, I've learned the best way to do this. It's just by letting him be several tiles above you and just by being extremely patient. No need to rush. Never again. A Panda, I find that rod breaking can still probably do the best damage possible. 5,000 a throw is kind of crazy, and I've used them too little. For 800 Gil items from the first world, it's pretty good. Catastrophe ends up being a strain on resources by using Earthshaker several times and dealing over 1,000 to everyone. Makes me have to think about elixirs and other methods of restoring HP. Halicarnassus is a dickhole this time, requiring dozens of uses of the Wonder Rod to successfully survive and steal the Aegis Shield. But of course, the Wonder Rod makes it free. Twintania goes poorly once or twice, and I redo it in the same fashion. Basically, I have plenty of elixirs if I don't find myself wasting them now, so scum until the luck is firmly on my side. Then we bump into King Behemoths, who counterattack when you attack, and they don't seem to care otherwise, so I can full heal for free, put on a defender buffs, and hopefully get in an insane starting position for X-Def coming up. And it's here. I'll play it in full. I think it's worth watching. The end of Final Fantasy V without the menu running or Spending Gil challenge. Enjoy! I'll see you in a moment. I don't take excessive pride in what I've done here because honestly I could have probably built a fucking car or something in the time it took me to do this, but I am proud that I can stick with something so monumentally unfun, so cataclysmically shit. I don't give in, even when presented with something that is constantly striving to screw me. And what do I have to show for it? Well, besides this video as indelible proof of my dramatically large balls, but also the knowledge that I push the 2D Final Fantasies further than I have seen otherwise done. Could this run be harder? Of course, it could have more restrictions, it could lock us on worse jobs, it could have something akin to the really harsh restrictive runs I've watched others perform. Those who I would credit as being far more knowledgeable and intelligent than me. And with that, I bow out of Final Fantasy V, and I thank you all for the wait. It's been hard in my life to maintain progress towards something this disastrously punishing. With all the video topics I want to do just staring at me, I was just questioning if I was really gonna start this game over and over again. Now that we're here, we can genuinely look forward to a new era where I pick something much more not this to do for 7, for 8, for 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, Mystic Quest, 14, 15, 16, Mystic Quest again. And when it's done, I want to be able to say, that was the worst shit I've ever done. I'm never doing that again.